same years he had as a Colts receiver. But now, guiding the Patriots, and hopefully at the end of the day, he hopes his team's in first place. Tony Franklin kicks it away. This is Albert Bentley at the 3. Bentley, a flag is down as Bentley gets out to the 28. Ed Reynolds in on the tackle on special teams after a 25-yard return, but this flag will go against the Colts to start off the ball game. And Mike Pagel will start at quarterback.
For 59 on the return.
Penalty whistled against Orlando Lowry, but Mike Pagel will be the starting quarterback the rest of the year. Matt Koeffler got the start last week, had a bad game, so now it's Pagel.
Not exactly the way, Len, the Colts envisioned getting started here today, deep in their own territory on the 10-yard line.
Millen and Wansley. Matt Booza off the injured reserve list, the wide receiver with Wayne Capers, and Pat Beach, the tight end. They will try to run left behind Chris Hinton and Ben Hutt. Ray Donaldson, a solid center, Solt and Baldishweiler. And they start with two tight ends when they do start. It's taking them a while. Pat Beach and Mark Boyer will both be in their first alignment. And that's because they are starting deep in their own territory. They will begin this game at the 8. That's Boyer moving over to the far side. Now to the near side. And straight ahead, Randy McMillan with good running room out to the 15, and they hope that they can control the game on the ground. That is their game plan against the Patriots defense. Of course, the solid front three. Ken Sims, the top tackler against the Jets. Julie Adams, 3 sacks in the overtime loss in New York. Of course, their fine linebacking core, Andre Tippett leading the AFC with 13.5 sacks with Nelson McGrew, Blackman. The defensive backs have started every game as a unit this year. Lippett, Claiborne, James, and Fred Marion with his 6 interceptions. From the 14. This is a 2nd and 4. Pagel to throw. And looking deep for Capers. And couldn't hold on. Raven Claiborne was with him, but Pagel looking very unconservative on 2nd down, and Claiborne shaking his head.
Claiborne saying, why me, why me? But Raymond Claiborne, having an all-pro type year, Len here doing an excellent job running stride for stride with Wayne Capers. Capers, by the way, has a lot of speed and is a legitimate home run threat. I think the value of that play early on here, Len, even though it wasn't completed, shows the Patriot defense that the Colts are going to come out and not ding-ding on the short stuff underneath all day long and go for the long bomb.
Perhaps Mike Pagel signaling 3rd down. It's 3rd and 4. He has 3 wide receivers in the lineup. And looking over the middle, he's got him for a 1st down to George Wansley. Wansley, the halfback, was lined up as a wide receiver to the far side. And Pagel completes it for a Colts 1st down.
Wansley has been a pleasant surprise all year long. In his first game this year, he had 170 yards rushing in his first start. He's also an excellent receiver, having caught 24 balls this year, and he has an AFC leading 5.2-yard average carry.
Well, that was a 13-yard pickup, so look at Wansley go out to the far side again as a running back. 1st down at the 27. The pitch to McMillan. McMillan fights to the 32. So the Colts are moving the ball, and they have struggled offensively.
Then this is going to be an important matchup today. What the Colts do best is run the ball. Unfortunately for them, the Patriot defense is very stingy against the run, led many times by number 57. You'll see here Steve Nelson getting taken out of this play on this particular time by guard Ron Solt. But Steve Nelson is going to make a lot of tackles today. He is the heart and soul and brains of that Patriot defense.
2nd and 5 for the Colts at the 32. First possession of the football game, trying to break a 4-game losing streak. Pagel, nearly completing to Capers, tipped and intercepted by Roland James. James at the 35, and James down to the 30. Pagel threw that ball right on the money, bounced off of Capers. James gathered it in for his 4th interception of the year.
That's the kind of mistake the Colts cannot afford to make. You see Pagel going back here. Capers is doing a little hook pattern to the inside, wide open, right on the numbers. I think it bounced off his shoulder pad, deep in their own territory. If the Colts are going to hang with the Patriots today, Len, they cannot afford that type of turnover.
And now Tony Eason and the New England Patriots will start at the Colts 36. Can Tony Eason do the job? replacing Steve Grogan. Grogan is here, by the way, on crutches. He is here as an inspiration to his teammates. The fake and the misdirection to Tony Collins, and Collins fights to the 29. So the offense, Tony Eason with Craig James and Collins, Stanley Morgan. Stephen Starring is starting in place of Irving Fryer, who has a calf bruise. Lynn Dawson is the tight end. Offensive line changes there as well. John Hanna is starting with a shoulder injury. Guy Morris is starting, but Pete Brock is here and healthy, and Paul Fairchild starts at right guard for the injured Ron Wooten. Called a 2nd and 8 at the 29. The pitch back to Craig James with running room, and James out of bounds and takes the photographer with him on the near side.
A good lead block that time for Craig James. A good lead block by number 33, Tony Collins. And as this year has progressed, Collins has been getting the ball less and less. Craig James getting the bulk of the ball-carrying responsibilities, part in reason because Tony Collins is a better blocker, Len.
Front three for the Colts, not their strong suit. Thompson, White, and Scott. Their strong suit is the linebackers. The first-round pick, Dwayne Bickett. The veteran Barry Krause with Cliff Odom and Johnny Cooks. Defensive backs have done well. Eugene Daniel has 6 interceptions. Preston Davis, Glasgow, Anthony Young. 2 tight end alignment for the Patriots on a 3rd and 1 at the 22, and the crowd cries for defense. And Tatupu gives the Patriots a first down. He is normally the 3rd and 1 man, and Tatupu delivers as we have a little scuffle breakout between Cliff Odom and Lynn Dawson.
Mosi Tatupu, what a tremendous short yardage name that is. It has a ring to it. Tatupu, one of the better short yardage carriers in the league, and he has a 3.8 yard per carry average. Taking a look at Steve Grogan there, I think it's important to the Patriots, Len, that his presence be here, even though he's not going to be suited up today. His brain, his leadership, I think is very valuable to the Patriots at this time. 2
screws in the bone, ligament damage, probably out for the rest of the season and the playoffs. Pitch back to Craig James, first down at the 19. James turns the corner to the 15. Before he's run out of bounds by Anthony Young, the free safety.
You saw there again what I was talking about a moment ago. Craig James getting the bulk of the ball carrying this year, and that leaves Tony Collins as his blocking halfback. Craig James is quite a capable player, but Tony Collins is a fine blocker.
Eason has certainly read and heard all kinds of criticism, and he says he's learned not to let things bother him. Grogan helped him in that respect, as you can imagine. Tony had to stand idly and watch Grogan the way Grogan had to watch Eason last year. 2nd and 7 at the 16. The pitch back. Tony Collins, and busts it inside the 5.
I don't believe what we just saw, Len. We saw Stephen Starring at quarterback doing the option pitch out. A little different wrinkle. Going to take a look at the quarterback here is, lo and behold, number 81. Can that be? Pitching out.
Starring. And he gets it to Tony Collins.
Earlier in the season, Coach Raymond Berry was criticized for being a bit on the conservative side. That's certainly not conservative.
Starring played some quarterback in college at McNeese State, so he knows how to run a wishbone. He did it that time. That may be about to change, that statistic. 1st and goal for the Patriots at the 2. Eason's the quarterback now. And the pitch back to Robert Weathers, who was stopped short of the goal line. This was all set up by a Roland James interception of a Mike Pagel pass on the first Colt series. Patriots took over in good position at the 31 and have now driven down to, as you see, within inches of the goal line with a little razzle-dazzle in between. Stephen Starring playing a quarterback on the wishbone option.
That's right. Totally unexpected. And as we said, this is exactly what the Colts could not afford to do. Turn the ball over deep in their own territory early in this ball game.
2nd and goal. Eason has Robert Weathers and Mosi Tatupu. Greg Hawthorne we've seen a lineup as well. Tatupu up but not over. The Colts hold on 2nd down. And running away with the ball is Anthony Young, but it's whistled dead.
There was nothing there over the top that time. The Colts were waiting for him. Brad White, Chris Scott dug in there. Barry Krause, Cliff Odom meeting him over the top. Going to take a look at the Colts defensive line down under, and Cliff Odom making a spectacular tackle, stopping him short. Just no room to run.
And the ball did come out before Tutupu hit the ground, but the official must have ruled that forward momentum was stopped. Therefore, no fumble. 3rd and inches. 10 minutes remaining, first quarter.
If the Colts can hold them at 3 here, it'd be a psychological lift for them.
And a flag is dropped for too much time. The noise level had increased, and the Patriots did practice with extra noise in Foxborough because of the dome here and the one in Seattle. They imported some crowd noise from the NBC station, WBZ in Boston, brought the crowd noise to practice just for this kind of instance, and apparently the crowd noise at practice did not help. 30 seconds ran off the clock, 5-yard penalty, so it'll be 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and goal.
Unbelievable place to let that happen. I don't think, Len, that it had much to do with the crowd factor. Just they did not pay attention to the 30-second clock.
Crowd making noise, and the 30-second clock is all the way down to 7 from the shotgun. 30-second clock is down to 2. Eason throwing, touchdown to Irving Fryer. So the business with Fryer not starting and starring in his place was obviously a ruse for that trick wishbone play. Starring back in the lineup, gets the touchdown, his 6th receiving this year.
The Colts had an all-out blitz on here. You can't see it in the screen, but the safeties came, the inside linebackers came, leaving the inside of the field wide open, and just an awful lot to ask of coverage in that situation. I think it may have been an audible here because he checked off, saw the blitz, saw the inside center field wide open, a little simple inside cut for the touchdown.
Tony Franklin, the barefooted kicker, has only missed 1 extra point attempt this year. And he doesn't miss one here either. So the interception sets up an 8-play, 31-yard drive with 9:20 remaining in the first quarter. Eason and company lead at 7-0. 3 weeks ago in Foxborough, when the Patriots beat the Colts 34-15, it was the Colts turnovers. 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. And as Tony Franklin gets set to kick it away again, it's the turnover again. The interception of a ball that should have been caught by Wayne Capers. Roland James picked it off, and consequently, the Patriots lead at 7-0.
That's right, Len, and that's exactly what the Colts cannot afford to do. If they're going to play competitively with the Patriots, they've got to play error-free ball and play it close to the vest and not make those kinds of mistakes.
Where is the shoe hidden this week? Franklin with those short kickoffs of his. And it's taken by the up man, Oliver Williams, and a good special teams tackle turned in by Derwin Williams, who runs off the field, fist in the air. The kid got the job done.
You know, that was an unusual kick. It was relatively short and very high, much like a punt. And Derwin Williams, with that superior speed, got down there almost as quickly as the ball.
So the Colts quickly trailing early in the game, 7-0. Will start at their 18. That was the drive that gave the Patriots the lead. Took New England 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Eason to Fryer finished it off.
Then this is a very important drive for the Colts. Once again, they have bad field position. They've got to get something done here.
First down at the 18. Wansley in motion. Bagel wants to throw again. Goes to McMillan. McMillan across the 20. Has room. McMillan across the 35. A big gainer. So big gain for McMillan. But now let's go to the man of the hour, Ahmad Rashad, NFL 85. Last we checked. We're going to have to give him some lessons. Congratulations to Ahmad Rashad. That was an engagement announcement. First down for the Colts at the 35. Wansley. Good defense as the Patriots stop it for no gain. Owens and Claiborne in on the action.
Fine play that time by the strong safety Roland James. Came in, got good penetration, beat the block of Randy McMillan. Didn't make the tackle, but forced it to go wider and deeper than he wanted to.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Indianapolis Colts and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd and 10 for Indianapolis. And they're at their 35, trailing 7-0. Not yet midway first quarter. Bagel completing to an open tight end, Pat Beach. And out of bounds at the 41, pickup of 6, covered by Don Blackman, the outside linebacker. So Pagel's throwing very well, Bob.
He is, and the interception earlier was not his fault,
That's
naturally.
Right.
That was very impressed by these Patriot linebackers. You're going to see Andre Tippett here doing what he does best, rush the quarterback, saying to Randy McMillan, hey, get out of here, kid. Now, Pat Beach, watch his little shoulder here. Continue to run the camera there. We can see Beach is already out of bounds, and he just flips Don Blackman and knocks him down.
3rd and 4 to 41 for Pagel. Flag is thrown.
Big Chris Hinton, the left tackle, saw Julie Adams move and couldn't react and moved himself.
Ball start, 75, offense.
Good eyes. Chris Hinton, the man.
It takes a lot of discipline for an offensive lineman. Len, right then, he knew the count was on 2, but when Julie Adams jumped on 1, coming right at him, going from about 2 feet away to 6 inches away, it's hard to maintain your composure and stand still.
I can imagine. Hinton, the third-year player now out of Northwestern. He was involved in that John Elway deal. Remember, Elway didn't want to play for the Colts. Hinton came to Indianapolis, then Baltimore as a result. Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 9 to 36. Julie Adams may be offside, but no flag. Pagel tried. Johnny Rembert was there as he tried to complete it to Albert Bentley. So now as Pagel and Julie Adams have a few words.
I don't see a flag, Len.
That was another good pass, by the way. He had the ball on the money.
It was, and the coverage was excellent. Pagel puts the ball the only where it could be caught here, low and inside. But the coverage was excellent by Johnny Rembert, and the ball should have been caught. Pagel's right on the mark so far today, Len, and the fact that the Colts haven't been able to sustain a drive is not his fault.
We're looking at Ron Stark, one of the best punters in the history of the National Football League. Stephen Starring is deep for New England. Stark, the punt of the way. Now it's Irving Fryer.
Oh, my
just
word.
Watch this one as it goes deep and through the end zone, so Stark can really boot him away. 64-yard punt, 3 more punts, and he will be the all-time punting leader in the history of the NFL.
We're going to take a look at arguably the best punter in the history of this sport. You're going to see Ron Stark just get everything in this ball. Len, this ball travels 74 yards in the air. It comes down on the goal line. He's got the follow-through. Tremendous college athlete. And as you said, he only needs 4 punts today to qualify as the all-time kicking leader in the history of this league.
He needs 300 punts, and he would surpass Sammy Baugh. Baugh was not only a great quarterback, but a great punter. Stark would be #1 all-time. First down at the 20, Tony Collins out to the 34. Stopped by Barry Krause, the veteran. It's interesting to note with Barry Krause and Nesby Glasgow, both with this club 7 years, and they're the old-timers. That's how young the Colts team is. 7 years with the club, and you're the old-timer.
Barry Krause in 7 years has had 4 head coaches plus an interim coach, I believe.
That's right. 1 game last year. Hal Hunter, the last game of the season.
By the way, he's very happy with the present coach, Rod Dowhauer. These Colts are really appreciating Rod Dowhauer's leadership.
2nd and 6 at the 24. Collins again. Collins bounces off one would-be tackler and gets out to the 28 before it's Barry Krause once again in on the tackle. We have 7 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. First quarter at the Hoosier Dome. The Patriots, thanks to a Roland James interception and an Irving Fryer 6-yard touchdown catch from Tony Eason, lead it 7-0. The Patriots now have a 3rd and 2 at the 28.
Then we've got an interesting matchup today. Big John Hanna, whom many consider the finest guard to play this game, is going against his old Alabama mate, Barry Krause.
3 wide receivers out of the shotgun. Eason. And there's a whistle. This throw is to Craig James. I believe the play was whistled dead before.
Ball start, left tackle, nullifies the play.
So that completion to James, wipe it off. Brian Holloway was the man whistled for the infraction.
Ball start, left tackle, automatically nullifies the play. Still 3rd down.
Bob McElwee, our referee today, making that call.
Boy, have I heard that call often. You know, Bob Holloway, Brian Holloway, one of the premier tackles, offensive tackles in this league. We probably won't call his name all day today except for this illegal motion penalty.
So the 3rd and 7 at the 22. The Colts have 6 defensive backs in the lineup, and Eason operates from the shotgun again. Going out to James, and the Colts defense holds, and that brings the crowd to life at the Hoosier Dome. Anthony Young making the stop on the far side, and the Patriots for the first time will have to punt.
Some fine defense by the Indianapolis Colts here, Len. They needed to hold the Patriots deep in their own territory. You can see Anthony Young here coming up from his free safety spot, not getting a tackle, but forcing Craig James to go out of bounds far short of the required yardage. Anthony Young, Len, has been a pleasant surprise, coming as a number 3 draft choice this year in the draft, playing some good, solid free safety for these Colts.
Rich Camarillo, second to start, punting in the AFC. So we have the battle of the 2 top conference punters. Robbie Martin is deep for the Colts. The rush was on, and it was blocked. The first block this year against Camarillo, and the ball is spinning and recovered at the 40, and that's where the Colts will take over. Orlando Lowry. So the punt is blocked. Officially, it will not go down as a block punt because the ball did go forward, but unofficially, this is a block of Camarillo, and the rush was on, turned in by Dave Aarons, who gets the big piece of it right here.
Dave Aarons gets his right hand on the ball, just enough to block it. Solid contact made there. Big play. The Colts are in positive territory on the Patriot 39-yard line.
So the punting game giving the Patriots trouble. The punt return cost them in overtime last week against the Jets. And here, the partially blocked punt. First down for the Colts at the 39. Boyer in motion. Here's McMillan. McMillan to the 35. McMillan to the 31. And the Colts have come alive, and downfield, some pushing and shoving, and a flag is thrown. Matt Bouza got into it with Ronnie Lippett.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 42 defense.
It goes against Ronnie Lippett.
Ronnie Lippett is often maligned, Len. He's a little guy, and playing opposite Raymond Claiborne, he's the man that many of the opposing teams go after and work on. And what he's doing here probably is trying to establish himself as an excellent defender and also as a man. He's a little guy. He's not about to take any lip or any physical abuse from the opponents, and it's important that he establish himself. Unfortunately, he went a little bit too far this time.
Lippett, one of the many players in this game, 3 on each squad, who come from the University of Miami. So I know the Hurricane fans watching today, and they had the big win over Notre Dame. This telecast being shown in Florida and the Miami area as well, and many ex-Hurricanes in the lineup this afternoon. So this moves it all the way down to the 17. First down for the Colts. Bouza in motion. McMillan the draw. McMillan hurdles and out of bounds. So that partially blocked punt has inspired the Colts as they look for the tying touchdown.
This was somewhat of a broken play, Len. There's a little collision between the quarterback and the ball carrier. McMillan's starting to go the wrong way, but once he gets off to the bad start, he does not too bad making up. Randy McMillan has superior speed for a fullback in this league. A big, strong back, but one of the few fullbacks that has the ability to go wide. He must have been a hurdler in high school.
He went to college in Pittsburgh, gained only 36 yards in their loss to Kansas City last week. He's come alive today, 30 yards already in 4 carries. First and goal at the 5 with 5 minutes remaining, first quarter. Hagel throwing, completing to Boyer, just short of the goal line. Rookie 9th round draft choice. Hagel shows you how far away from USC. Mark Boyer, looking for his first pro touchdown, came up inches short.
I'm impressed with Mike Pagel so far. Nice ball, nice throw here, putting it on the upfield side away from the defender. Raymond Claiborne doing all he can do is knock him out on the 1/2 yard line, but Mike Pagel then has been impressive so far.
The thing about Pagel is he is 4 for 7, but at least 2 drops. One of them, the interception.
That's right.
2nd and inches for the Colts. McMillan. Stopped just short, and you see the action in there.
Was he hit? Larry McGrew came through and put the leather on him.
So just as the Patriots were faced with 3rd and inches earlier before the delay of game penalty, now the Colts will have 3rd and inches with 4.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Patriots lead it 7-0.
I tell you, Len, the public, the fans have no idea how tough it is down inside the 1 and 2 yard line. And there's just a lot of heavy hitting going on. It's just not much fun down here. It's awfully tough.
Will it be McMillan? Yes. McMillan fights, and he gets in on the second effort. Initially, McMillan was stopped, but he kept spinning and moving and eventually spun away for the touchdown.
That's right. As you said, second effort by Randy McMillan. It's the same play that Larry McGrew stopped last time. There you see number 50 in the center of your screen, stopping him temporarily, but the second effort, he spun to the inside. That was the same play that McGrew did an excellent job of stopping last time. Same play again. Another look from the end zone here. There's the hit by McGrew. Good leg strength by Randy McMillan. The second effort got this touchdown.
McMillan's 4th touchdown of the year. Raul Alegre goes for the tie. He's got it. And so the partially blocked punt, the unnecessary roughness penalty against Ronnie Lippett. Half-yard touchdown run by this man, Randy McMillan. The game is tied. 45,000 yesterday. He needed it.
Yeah,
I think the first hole today is worth 100,000. The Skins game. Alegre kicks it away to 7-7 Colts and Patriots. Starring brings it out of there. Starring gets across the 20 and fights to the 25, so he made the right choice. So let's go to Ahmad Rashad at NFL 85, and he has another update for us on today's action around the NFL. Rolling sevens today. 7-7 there, 7-7 here. First down at the 25 for the Patriots. Inside of 4 minutes remaining, first quarter. Eason wants to throw on first down. No, to Derek Ramsey, and he couldn't hold on. Ramsey, who was not Steve Grogan's favorite receiver, but clicked with Tony Eason last year, and now that Eason's back, Ramsey thought he'd get a lot more balls thrown in his direction. Now, well, he had one thrown there and dropped it.
Ball should have been caught. It wasn't a perfect pass. Len, it was a little bit behind Derek Ramsey, but the ball should have been caught. And had he caught it, he had some open field, too. As you say, Derek Ramsey is perhaps Tony Eason's favorite receiver.
He had that club record 66 receptions last year. Second down at the 25 for the Patriots. Throwing long for Ramsey and couldn't connect as Eason was forced to scramble. Anthony Young covering along with Nesby Glasgow, putting the pressure on Eason.
The Colts employed a safety blitzer with Nesby Glasgow coming. You take a look at John Hanna here doing what he does so very well, pass protect against number 91 Byron Smith. That's not exactly the way they draw it up, Len, but it was effective.
Eason forced to scramble, did not eat the ball. Now those quarterback ratings are awfully deceptive. When you eat the ball and take a long sack, it doesn't count in those statistics, and when you throw the ball away for an incompletion, it does. That doesn't quite seem right. Shotgun, 3rd and 10 for 25. Throwing. Completing. For a first down to Stephen Starring with a former Patriot, Preston Davis, covering.
This was a beautiful execution here, not only by the quarterback, but also by the receiver, Stephen Starring. You take a look at the Colts secondary, 4 across, the backing up, giving off. You're going to see Stephen Starring driving hard, cutting to the right. Now, the ball is already in the air. The ball was thrown before the cut was made. Not bad coverage, but when you have the timing between your quarterback and receiver that they show there's not much you can do about it.
15-yard pickup. Coming down to 3 minutes remaining in a tied first quarter. First down for the Patriots at their 40. There's Ramsey. He's got one. Pickup of 5. Covered by the veteran Nesby Glasgow. So Ramsey, his 23rd reception of the year, first of the game from Tony Eason.
Nesby Glasgow is going to have a busy day today covering Derek Ramsey. As we said a little while ago, Ramsey is Eason's favorite receiver, and Tony likes to go to Derek Ramsey underneath the zones quite a bit, and also to his halfback, Tony Collins, coming out of the backfield. So it could be a long day for Nesby Glasgow, although he's up to the challenge. He's one of the better safeties in the league.
2nd and 5 at the 45. Nearly short of a first down up to the 48. No score in Pittsburgh. Second quarter already there. As we heard, Browns and Giants tied. It's an old rivalry. Cincinnati now is up to the 14-0. That could really put Houston way out of the race. Philadelphia with that 10-point lead over Minnesota. Second quarter there in New Orleans.
There's a surprise.
That is, with Bum Phillips' son Wade at the controls. The Battle of the Bays scoreless. Scoreless, a 3rd and 2 for New England at the 48. Important play right here. And completing to Fryer for another New England first down. Davis covering. So we mentioned earlier, which Tony Eason would we see? The tentative one, the aggressive one, which have we seen?
So far, he's impressive, although he hasn't gone downtown. He's throwing the outs, the quick outs, as you see to Fryer here, but his timing has been right on, not only with Fryer, but Stephen Starring as well. So Tony's performing well so far today. What he's going to have to do eventually is go over the top. He's throwing the short stuff right now, and eventually that'll pull the Colt defense up and catch their way downtown.
First and 10 at the 44. James, not much. Barry Krause again. He was one of the Colts who was there. Colts have a good linebacking core, as we mentioned earlier.
They sure do. Taking a look at them right here, Cliff Odom and Barry Krause. Barry renewing acquaintances with John Hanna and Paul Fairchild there, getting blocked by Fairchild, but fighting through the block, getting involved in the play. The Colt linebackers are the backbone of this Indianapolis Colt defense.
2nd and 9 at the 43 of Indianapolis. To Morgan, and Stanley Morgan has a first down inside the 25. So working against Preston Davis, the left cornerback, Eason is using all of his receivers.
He sure is. That was just a quick slant, a little eye cut to Jugs Morgan. And I've covered the Patriots 3 times this year, Len, and I must say that I've seen Stanley Morgan make some unbelievable catches. Over the years playing against him, you see, taking a look at Steve Grogan on the sideline there, he's not playing a small part in today's offense. But Jugs Morgan is just a very impressive receiver. We'll talk more about him later.
That was his first reception since 3 weeks ago. He's had hamstring problems. First down at the 26. James. Out of bounds at the 24. Pickup of 2. Cliff Odom. One of the linebackers, Dwayne Bickett for the Colts. His teammates got him in that old free turkey ruse that the veterans like to pull on the rookies. They put a sign up on the locker room wall, free turkeys, and Bickett fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, went to the non-existent supermarket and found out that the turkey was him. But there is a nice ending to the story. His roommate, Matt Kofler, had bought a turkey. It was in the refrigerator, so Bickett had a bird for his family when they came to visit.
Well, all's well that ends well. And that is something. All the teams, I think, across the league play this trick. In Miami, at least they have a legitimate supermarket, and the veterans have to put on like there's a free turkey. You especially love to get a #1 draft choice because he's made these hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's going to get a free turkey.
And now, clock is restarted. There are 19 seconds remaining in the first quarter. This is a 2nd and 8 at the 48, and now the officials will confirm. Cliff Odom came out a moment ago. They're taking a look at his fingers.
Talking about that.
Correct. Clock is correct.
The clock is correct. All right. Talking about that turkey ploy that's played this year in Indianapolis. Here they got their #1 draft choice, Dwayne Bickett. That's an especially sweet prize because you like to really trick your #1. But in Miami, we did the same thing, and they, over the years, they've gotten some good ones. Some fights have been caused because the rookies go and demand their turkey.
And the veteran linebacker Cliff Odom going to the locker room. They're going to check his hand. 19 seconds left in the quarter. 2nd and 8 at the 48. Swings it out to Collins. Picks it up. Goes with it. The reason he was able to pick up and go with it was that was a backwards pass, a lateral. And I saw a game a couple of weeks ago in Cincinnati where just in that situation, the running back just dropped it and let it drop, and it was a recovery for the other team. So this is not an incompletion. This is a backward pass or a lateral. He can pick it up and go with it.
That's correct. And the Patriots were very fortunate here, and heads-up play by Tony Collins to go after this ball because it definitely was a lateral.
So 15 minutes are done. The Colts and the Patriots tied 7-7. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a minute. They did not. But as we start the second quarter, the Patriots faced with a 3rd and 11 at the Colt 27. Eason out of the shotgun. Flag is down. Eason throwing and overthrowing. Stephen Starring made a cut, but Eason threw it over his head.
Donnell Thompson may have come across a little bit early there, Len, unless he was drawn on.
And it goes against the Colts, and that's a critical mistake because the Colts would have stopped the Patriots there on 3rd down, but now New England will get another shot.
Offside, defensive left end. Still 3rd down.
So our statistics, well, they're pretty even except for time of possession. The Patriots 10 minutes to the Colts 5 minutes, but our score is even 7-7.
And that's the only one that counts.
Rob Dowhauer checking the charts to see what his defense has here for a 3rd and 6 against Raymond Berry's offense. See Tom Ramsey, backup quarterback with the headset. Steve Rogan over there as well. In the shotgun. Completing, but short of a 1st down, I believe. It depends where they mark it to Stephen Starring. Eugene Daniel, the good coverage over there, the 2nd-year man from LSU. There is an unsung, excellent cornerback in the NFL, Eugene Daniel.
You're right. That was excellent coverage by Eugene Daniel. He's having a banner year, 59 tackles going into today's ballgame and 6 interceptions. He's playing good, tough, aggressive football for these Indianapolis Colts.
So Tony Franklin will have the ball spotted for him by Tony Eason at the 25. So this will be a 35-yard attempt. Tony has missed 4 field goal attempts this year, 16 of 20. On this one, the barefooted kicker had it high and true. So, in the opening minute of the 2nd quarter, a 35-yard field goal by Tony Franklin, and the New England Patriots have grabbed a quick 10-7 lead. Opening minute of the 2nd quarter, Mike Pagel's statistics, the 1 interception, not his fault. You know what his pregame meal is, Bob?
No, tell me.
Well, I'm about to tell you. For each game, 8 pieces of toast covered with sour cream. How's that?
Sour cream.
You know the reason? He says that soaks up the acid from his nerves in his stomach. What was your all right, Tony Franklin kicks it away, and we'll find out the burning question in a moment what your pregame meal was. This is Robbie Martin. And Martin grabbed by Jim Bowman on a fine tackle at the 15.
Jim Bowman playing a lot of good special teams for the Patriots this year, a rookie draft choice, and doing a good job. He's also their nickel back in the nickel package.
And your pregame meal was?
Anything that didn't run away from me. But you know, when you're 3 and 9, you better eat a lot of sour cream. You have a lot of acid.
Okay, we're 1 minute into the 2nd quarter. The Patriots lead the Colts 10-7. But Pagel has looked sharp passing. He is not a crowd favorite in Indianapolis. That's just a very frank assessment. The crowd is down on him, but I think he's looked fairly sharp today. That's Wansley in motion. And didn't look sharp on that one as he and Wansley did not connect.
Wansley broke the pattern off a little bit prematurely there, a little bit mix-up on either your receiver or your quarterback, and actually it wasn't a bad throw by Pagel. Wansley was very well covered, and Pagel threw it high and outside. If it wasn't going to be caught by his team, it wasn't going to be caught at all.
Pittsburgh, the field goal lead there. Cincinnati doing a job on Houston. I love Cincinnati's offense, but there are times you wonder where it's gone. Not today. Philadelphia by 10 over Minnesota. Green Bay leads. So 2nd and 10 for the Colts at the 16. Wansley on the misdirection, but Blackman and McGrew, both the linebackers were there, were not faked out at all, and that'll be a loss.
This is a superior New England Patriot defense. They're especially tough against the run. A passing situation here, but they smell this draw play out. You're going to see Steve Nelson there waiting on it, along with Don Blackman, and yet another Larry McGrew. Nowhere to run.
And a loss of 2. So this is a play which the defense loves. 3rd and 12 when the offense is backed up to its 14. Will they be coming at Pagel, or will they lay and wait for the interception? Here they come. Pagel scoots away. Flag down. Intercepted by Fred Marion. And Marion tripped up at the 14. And if the flag goes against the Colts, the Patriots will be in excellent shape once again. It's a hold against the Colts.
Penalty is declined.
The interception stands.
Taking a look at Andre Tippett, leading the NFL with 13.5 sacks, and here you see why. That's a big man, Carl Baldischweiler, that he's beating there. And that play resulted in a holding penalty. So naturally, they're going to turn it down and take the interception. Freddie Marion having a terrific year in New England. This is his 7th interception.
That leads the AFC now. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Month, and you can see why. That's
right, a Hurricane out of the University of Miami, not only 7 interceptions, but going into today's game, then he had 96 tackles. That's a lot of hits.
And tripped up there at the 14. So the Patriots will begin just 2 minutes into the second quarter trying to pad their lead. Eason over the middle. Morgan puts his head down. Touchdown.
He smelled the end zone, Len. He knew exactly where it was. That little stretch there at the last got him that last foot or so to get in the end zone. The referee right on the end zone line there in good position. I was talking about Stanley Jugs Morgan earlier in the day. This is one tremendous receiver. A little inside cut. You see him cutting underneath the linebacker there, number 86, coming across. Hit on the 5-yard line, but stretching in. I don't know. From that angle, it looks like it may have been a favorable call. It looked to me like his knee went down on the 2-yard line. But the referee says touchdown, and that's all that matters.
Eason will hold for Tony Franklin. And he has got it. So with only 2 minutes gone, second quarter, the Patriots have taken a 10-point lead. The interception by Fred Marion, a one-play drive, 14 yards to Stanley Morgan.
Your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By the astonishingly simple new Sony Handycam. All the excitement of video movies now in the palm of your hand. And by the Sperry Corporation.
Back in Indianapolis, Tony Franklin kicks it away to Albert Bentley at the 3. Bentley runs into a teammate, gets across the 20 and fights to the 24. You can see why he is leading the AFC in kick return yards. The little guy doesn't quit.
Taking a look at Stanley Morgan, over the years having played against this man so many times, always had a lot of respect for Stanley Morgan, but I didn't realize just how good he was. You're going to see him cutting over the middle here, and to me it looks like his knee touches down at the 2-yard line, but it's a touchdown. It's going to stand up. But my point is Stanley Morgan is the all-time career leader in yards per catch. He has averaged 20.5 yards per catch over his career, ahead of Paul Warfield. Not a bad country receiver himself.
You're right. His knee was down. He was trying to break the plane with the ball, and perhaps the official thought he broke the plane before the knee was down. Any event, the Patriots lead at 17-7. Still 12:45 remain in the half. First down at the 23. Wayne Capers. Capers across the 30. Gets it out to the 32. Good pickup.
See a flag there. Maybe a little clip behind the back. Hitting from behind on Pat Beach, or Matt Boza, number 85, I believe. Blocked from behind. He was just trying to help out his mate.
Interesting core of wide receivers. Only Matt Boza.
Unnecessary roughness, 38 defense.
Goes against Roland James, and that's a first down. Interesting core of wide receivers. Boza came off injured reserve today. There's James, who committed the foul, but the other 4 wide receivers, very little experience and no experience with the Colts before this season. Wayne Capers.
There's a surprise, Len. 28-0, the Bengals over the Oilers.
Well, the Bengal offense is tough, and that's an even bigger surprise.
9-0.
For Wade Phillips.
Saints rallying here.
So the Colts get all the way out to the 46. So the catch and penalty totaled 23 yards, and the Colts are in better shape here. Big wants to throw again. Looking for Capers, and Fred Marion got a hand on it once again. But so much for all the pregame strategy, Bob. Everyone said how the Colts wanted to establish the run, get it to McMillan and Walmsley and run left. Well, the early interception and now a 10-point deficit and goodbye game plan of running left.
That's right. When you're down 17-7 in the second quarter, you've got to kind of improvise. You can't be running the ball all the time. They're going to have to keep the Patriots honest by showing the run, but he's going to have to put the ball in the air. And Freddie Marion is just playing some excellent center field.
Does he have a nose for the ball? Second down and 10 for the Colts at their 46. Walmsley goes in motion. Outlet man is McMillan. McMillan. And after all that, maybe he picked up a yard. But Kenneth Sims may be hurt for the Patriots.
Yes, he's writhing in pain. We're going to take a look at one of the underrated linebackers in this league. Andre Tippett gets all the credit, accolades in this team, but his battery mate, Don Blackman, is an excellent player also. This may be. He's going to miss this tackle. Randy McMillan absolutely makes him miss. Len, I think this is the best 1-yard run I've seen all year long. He broke 3 tackles to gain 1 yard.
The concern for the Patriots, and Raymond Berry and company came running out on the field for their fine defensive left end Kenneth Sims, who is having a fine season, but he appears to be hurt. We will watch him closely, and while he's tended to, we will take a commercial timeout.
Sims' injury here. Actually, Kenneth Sims is going to try a maneuver that's very much illegal. You see 77 in the lower right portion of the screen. Watch him leg whip with his left leg right here. Boom. Now that is illegal. Even though he's tackling the ball carrier, that's an illegal technique, and justice prevailed there, Len. He got the injury.
3rd and 9 shotgun. Here comes Thomas on the rush. Oh, good completion to Matt Booza. Booza inside the 35.
Excellent reception. People are very excited about Matt Booza's return this week, and he's a good possession type receiver, but there he showed you why he's so valuable to this Colt team.
Incidentally, Sims was helped off the field. He could not put much weight on his left leg. He was not carried off the field, but his teammates had to help him as Sims put his arms around their shoulders, and we'll try to get an update on Kenneth Sims, as well as Cliff Odom of the Colts. First down, the ball to 32. Biggest completion of the day for the Colts. Now to the run. McMillan slices inside the 25 and close to another first down.
Excellent blocking that time. Excellent blocking by the Colt offensive line that time. That's a play that is run through pretty much throughout the league now. You'll see the left guard Ben Utt and Chris Hinton pulling, and the ball carrier turning up. Hinton didn't really get the block there, but the left guard Ben Utt got an excellent block on the defensive end. And that is a play, as I said, that's being run throughout the league right now, where your big, strong, mobile offensive linemen these days, they're not like they were when I was playing.
Look at this one. The Browns over the Giants 21-7. Cleveland trying to take control of the AFC Central on the road.
Against the #1 defense in the league, the Giants?
2nd and inches. McMillan. I believe he got those inches. Let's see. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WBZ, TV4 Boston.
Back in Indianapolis, it's a first down for the Colts. It's Len Berman along with Bob Kuchenberg. The Patriots, on the strength of 2 interceptions, lead the Colts 17-7. And the Colts are moving.
That was their new offensive lineman they just signed, I believe.
First and 10 at the 22. Misdirection. McMillan inside the 20 to the 18. So this Colts offense trying to do something they haven't done in the last several weeks, engineer a long, successful offensive drive.
That's right, Len, and their statistics are very good running the ball. They have a good per rush average, but they've stopped themselves from being consistent with a breakdown here and there throughout the course of the drive. So it's something you really can't put your finger on. They have an excellent per rush average, but they make errors at critical times.
8:40 remaining in the half. 2nd and 7 at the 19. Capers in motion. Rabuza falling down and got a hand on him anyway. Incomplete. He'll be 3rd down and 7.
Excellent coverage that time by Raymond Claiborne. He knew the pattern. He was all over Booza. The ball was not very well thrown. It was behind Booza, and it would have been an extremely difficult catch to make. It was actually a play-action pass where it's designed to suck up the linebackers, they thinking that it's going to be a run and create a zone, an area between your linebackers and your secondary. That part worked, but Raymond Claiborne, it did not fool.
3rd and 7 at the 19. The word on Cliff Odom, dislocated middle finger. They're checking Ken Sims' left leg. He has been wheeled off to the Patriot locker room. Out of the shotgun. Handoff. Bentley. Bentley looking to throw. Throws it back to Pagel, the quarterback. And Pagel close to a first down. So a gadget play for the Colts. And it's complete. The halfback, Albert Bentley, throwing the pass. The rookie from Miami throwing it to Pagel, who says that's how close he is to a first down.
A little razzle-dazzle. The snap was high. Albert Bentley pulling here. You're going to see him throw back to his quarterback. Now, Len, the only reason the quarterback is an eligible receiver here is because it was from the shotgun formation.
That's right. A quarterback is not allowed to be a receiver if he takes the snap over center. See the handoff, and Bentley will throw it back to a quarterback who's usually open.
Oh, did
Nobody
he take a
ever
hit?
watches the quarterback, and that's why it's such an effective play. But they are going for it on 4th and inches at the 13.
And the fans like it.
Wansley. First down.
They're excited. The Colts and the fans are excited. They have not packed it in for the year. They're giving the Patriot defense all they want. This has been a good, slow, methodical, impressive drive, Len.
And you love these coaches. They act conservative when they speak to the media, Dowhauer and Berry. But Berry has a wide receiver lineup at quarterback. Dowhauer has a quarterback play wide receiver. And the coaches are letting it hang out. First and goal. Got a good one going now at the 8-yard line. Pagel scrambling. Pagel looking for McMillan. Couldn't find him. Steve Nelson was between McMillan and the ball.
Excellent play by the old man, Steve Nelson. Nelly was all over the field covering receiver one-on-one. You're going to see Mike Pagel. We talked about his mobility. That's one of the big assets he has as a quarterback. He can scamper. He's a threat to throw the ball and run the ball. Now, with him running here, it forces the New England secondary to come up and cover him. But Steve Nelson, you're going to see on the right-hand side of it, just gets a hand on the ball, preventing what was a sure touchdown. Here you have Steve Nelson that's been playing for 12 years. I don't think he can break 5.5 on the 40-yard dash, covering a young and healthy Ren McMillan and doing the job.
Got the job done. 12th play of the drive. It started on their 23. Second and goal, the Patriots 8. And that's blocked. And out of bounds.
Big Lester
Williams.
The Hurricanes are everywhere.
Lester partially blocked Pat Leahy's winning field goal last week, and here he gets a big mitt on this Mike Pagel toss. Look at this. That's a major league block.
Yes, it is. Lester Williams, big, tall guy, doesn't get that much penetration, but does what he's coached to do, and that's when the quarterback's throwing the ball, gets his hands up and blocks it.
What do you call here? He's gone for it on 4th and inches. He's had a gadget play. He needs something here. 3rd and goal from the 8.
Well, it's probably a passing situation, but he's got 2 downs to get the ball in the end zone.
Wansley's lined up as a wide receiver. Pagel throwing for his tight end, Pat Beach. And he can't hang on. Fred Marion, of course, was one there, and Pagel is down, as you see, as he took a hit. Pat Beach, the intended receiver, and Pagel's still kneeling.
Pagel took a hit from Lester Williams again here. 2 fine plays by the ex-Hurricane Lester Williams in a row here that turned what was a very dangerous situation defensively into a very safe situation.
You know who's really happy that that play didn't go? Raul Allegre gets to try a field goal. He gets paid by the kick. He gets $3,000 for a field goal. He said, boy, that's pretty good he didn't hang on for the touchdown, because now I get to go for $3,000 for a field goal.
You're right. I saw him cheering when Nelson deflected that touchdown pass.
Not really. 25-yard attempt for Allegre. And put $3,000 in the bank. The happiest Colt in the lineup. 3 points, $3,000. 6:29 until halftime. And the Colts have closed to within 7 of the Patriots. It's 17-10, the Patriots on top. 6:28 remaining in the half. Starring brought it out last time, and he'll do it again. And it works again. He gets past the 20, but flags are down all over the field as he takes a high, hard hit by Leonard Coleman. And now some extra activity upfield between Tate Randall and Johnny Rembrandt.
Yeah, just a little belly bumping going on here. You know, Tate Randall doesn't get to play a lot anymore, and he's got to loosen up a little bit here.
Let's see what Bob McElwee says.
Holding number 83, holding number 23, both on the return.
Yeah, that's McSwain and Jones. And our production assistant, Kevin Smolin, has figured out a leg Raynomics. For the extra point, $500. The field goal, $3,000. That's why he reacts this way after the field goal. But let's give him a plug here. It is not sheer greed. After one game this year, he gave all the money he got from kicking to aid the Mexican relief victims from the earthquakes because he is a native of Mexico. So it's not all sheer cash in the Raul Alegre's mind. The crowd comes alive. First down for New England, backed up to their 10 now after the penalty. And they play it straight ahead, and the defense is there. Craig James the carry. Dwayne Bickett may have been fooled by the turkey ploy, but not fooled by the run.
You have an ongoing match here today between two ex-Alabama graduates. Big John Anna here. You see him blocking Barry Krause, trying to block Barry Krause. Barry got good position on him that time, beat him to the outside, and got involved with the tackle.
Do you think the shoulder is telling a tale with Hanna at all?
I think it is. John has been injured in some way or another all year long. He's not played up to his standards.
Eason faced with a 2nd and 9 at the 11. James again. Lost the ball. Got it back. They haven't had a fumble today. The Patriots have fumbled more than any team in the league. They've given it away, and they've recovered more fumbles than anyone around, but not today. They've done it with the interceptions. Ball out to the 15. Denver's taken the lead now over Pittsburgh. Elway to Clint Sampson, 24-yarder. Giants have come back on another Joe Morris touchdown run. Houston has a field goal, but here it's 3rd down. 6 yards to go. At the 14, and flags are down.
Ball start, number 66, offense.
Paul Fairchild starting in place of the injured Ron Wooten. So the play being sent in, as you saw, from Tom Ramsey and Coach Raymond Burry. Cedric Jones will bring it into the huddle, and they're faced with 3rd and 11 at the 9. In this case, do you get conservative or do you go for it?
Well, if history is any indication, Tony Eason is going to put the ball in the air here. The reason for that penalty that time, by the way, was a shotgun formation on the road. It's very difficult to hear your quarterback, particularly when he's in the shotgun, as he is now.
They're making the noise again. Eason clapping his hands for the ball. From his end zone to Starring, who couldn't hold on. He would have had a first down. Had it, lost it. The crowd comes to life as the Colts have held.
We've got a ball game here today, Lynn. Starring's going to run about a 12-yard O, driving upfield, cutting to the outside. Good coverage by Preston Davis. The ball's going to arrive a little bit low. It's a catchable ball. He should have had it. It hits his shoulder pad there. That is a clutch catch. You're deep in your own territory. If you make this catch, you've got a first down. Now the Patriots are punting from deep in their own end zone.
They've got a good punter to do it, though, Rich Camarillo. Remember the situation last week. His first punt partially blocked today. That set up the Colts score. He gets this one off, but it's low. Not a great kick. Robbie Martin in Patriots territory. And Martin gets it down to the New England 35. So with 4:24 remaining in the first half, the Colts trail it by 7, 17-10. But they have the ball in excellent position at the New England 34.
That's one of the things, Len. Rich Camarillo has an excellent gross punting average, 43.7 yards. But he has not a very good net punting average, 33.7 yards. There's a big disparity, a 10-yard disparity between his gross and net punting average. The reason for that is he commonly outkicks his coverage. He kicks long and low, hence there are a lot of returns.
First down at the 34. The Colts looking to tie the game by halftime. Look out. He got away and completes it to Boyer. What a play. How How did Pagel sneak away from the sack is the question.
What a heads-up play by this fine athlete. Not only how did he sneak away from the sack, he ducks under 2 or 3 tacklers here, but also what's impressive to me is he knows exactly where the line of scrimmage is. He's going to run the ball, no, he's going to throw the ball. How does he know he's not across the line of scrimmage? He wasn't. Excellent judgment by the young quarterback.
What a play. 22 yards down to the 12. First down. Walmsley barrels to the 6. Wait a second. Is this the same team that's lost 4 in a row and is 3-9? Did someone say they might be looking ahead to the Chicago Bears next week? Look out, Bears. Here come the Colts.
The same team that went out and folded the tent last week at Kansas City. Now, talking with the Colts and their coaches yesterday, Len, I could tell that even though the record doesn't indicate it, this is not a team that's packed it in for the season. They're having fun even though they're not winning. They're trying their darndest. They've got a lot of pride, and Dowhauer has instilled that in them.
Isn't smiling yet. 2nd and 4 at the 6. Capers in motion. McMillan, touchdown! Second touchdown of the game for Randy McMillan. The Colts are within a point.
Watch number 64, Ben Utt here. It's a trap play. He logs the defender, Andre Tippett, the All-Pro. This touchdown is because the left guard, Ben Utt, did an excellent job of logging in or blocking the All-Pro Andre Tippett. His assignment is to block Tippett inside or outside. In this case, Tippett was coming to the inside. Utt picked him up, and they have a touchdown.
And a tie football game with 2:53 remaining in the first half. It's the Patriots 17, the Colts 17.
There you see Ben Utt, number 64 on the left side. There's Andre Tippett. There's the block. If he gets that block, he's got an unimpeded line to the end zone. That made it look easy. The block by the left guard.
So McMillan, 2 touchdowns on the ground. The Patriots have their 2 touchdowns through the air, and it is tied. And credit the Colt defense for holding the Patriots on the last drive. Starring couldn't hold on to that pass. The punt from the end zone was a short one. Put the Colts in excellent position. 3 plays later, 34 yards, 6-yard run from McMillan. And it's a surprising score, 17-17. The Patriots are a team fighting for first place today. The Colts are merely fighting for respectability. And yet with 2:53 remaining in the half, they're even.
That's right, Len. The Colts have had a good, solid defense all year long. The problem has been they've had an inconsistent offense. They've not been able to sustain drives, and consequently, when your defense is on the field, they get worn down.
Allegre, does it stay in bounds? No. Barely. So, Allegre will have to kick it again. Doesn't get any extra money for extra kickoffs, does he?
That looked like a 9-iron shot coming down about 2 feet from the pin.
Here's what it's all about. The Colts are trying to stay out of last place. The Patriots are trying to tie the Jets for first place. And, of course, Miami, your former team, Bob, with the big game tomorrow night, hosting Chicago. Who do you like?
I like the Dolphins, and I'm hoping and praying for some good, hot, humid weather down there Monday night. And I think if we get that, the refrigerator and company may come unplugged in about the 3rd quarter. A lot of respect around the league for Don Shula, naturally, and also for the Dolphins playing at home. The Orange Bowl is a very difficult place to play. And I know one thing. There will be 75,000 souls united in the Orange Bowl Monday night cheering for the Bears bushwhacking.
Now with 5 touchdowns, talk about a tough place the Orange Bowl is. Just ask the Patriots. They've only won once there in their history, and that's back in 1966. Coming up at halftime, NFL 85, Lyle Alzado will be in the studio. Starring. And this time out to the 27. And the Patriots will go to work with 2 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the first half. Preston Davis on the stop.
24 yards.
Patriots have in 2 weeks. Well, Patriots, people talk about tiebreakers and finishing and what happens with different records. It's very simple. If they win, they go to the playoffs. All they have to do is win 7 straight games starting today, and they win the Super Bowl. So that's it. So all the talk about tiebreakers and what if, that's only for losers. If the Patriots now control their own destiny. 4 straight wins, they win the AFC East. No doubt, doesn't matter what the other teams do. Patriots getting the play call. Eason for Collins, incomplete. Did you see the line there? Each man was passing the play down the right side of the Patriots, out to the right flank.
That's an additional problem here of letting the Colts back in the ballgame. You've got not only the Colts excited, but their fans are excited. Here in the Hoosier Dome, of course, it's an enclosed area, and it can be very loud. Now, when the Patriots were up 17-7, you didn't hear much. There was no problem for the Patriots to hear their signals. Now it's very loud, and they've got their hands full.
2nd and 10 at the 27, and talk about a little bit of pressure on Tony Eason right now.
Using the shotgun here, very hard to hear.
Now he's back up over the center. Going long, a flag is down, wide open, Irving Fryer, and goes out of bounds. But a flag is down on the near side, and we'll see what the call is. Is Fryer open or what?
There was a breakdown in the Colt coverage, that's for sure, but the penalty.
Holding, number 38 defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Penalty against Eugene Daniel. The long pickup for Fryer stands. Look at this one.
Don't know what kind of coverage the Colts bring here. We can't see. But somebody did not even see the receiver. Looks like Tate Randall, who comes in the nickel package, did not turn and run deep with Irving Fryer. And this is not something the Colts would like to give up, a 50-yard pass here in the final 2.5 minutes of the first half.
A 62-yard pickup, and the Patriots are in business. We've had enough action for a complete football game this afternoon, and we still have 2:26 remaining in the first half. First down at the Colts 21. Going far side, nearly picked off. The Colts 9, and the crowd performs a wave. Craig James. James cuts inside the 5. Clock continues to run. Barry Krause making the stop. 1:45 remaining and counting.
Craig James having a fine year. Not only as a runner, he's entered the game with 848 yards rushing, but also an excellent receiver. He's caught 22 balls coming out of the backfield. And his combined yardage from the line of scrimmage is among the leaders in the American Football Conference. Having a fine year, Craig James. He knows where that pay dirt is. He made an excellent punt there and turned upfield and got 4 yards.
Now with 1:20 remaining in the half. 2nd and goal at the 4. James again. Tries to cut back, and does! The good move for the touchdown. The Patriots have taken the lead.
That's a very important development here for the Patriots to get on the scoreboard just before half. The Colts have fought their hearts out. You're going to see Craig James. This is almost all in Craig James. He has the speed to get outside here, but there's nowhere to run. Stopping, cutting back. He gets the last 4 yards all on his own. Don't see too many white jerseys blocking for him there. A lot of blue jerseys that Craig James looked like a man running through a forest at night there, unhit by the trees, and an excellent job, and he's having a fine season.
So it took the Patriots less than 2 minutes to regain the lead after the Colts had tied them. The big play, the 62-yard pass to Irving Fryer. Tony Franklin gives the Patriots a 7-point lead. So we have had 41 points scored in this first half, a high-scoring affair. Fryer 6 yards, gave the Patriots a 7-0 lead. Randy McMillan a half-yard run, tied it. 7-7 after 1 quarter. Tony Franklin field goal made it 10-7 New England. After a Fred Marion interception, a Stanley Morgan 14-yard touchdown reception. 17-7 New England. Raul Allegre 25 yards and $3,000 richer, made it 17-10. A McMillan touchdown run tied it at 17, and then this. 7 plays, 73 yards, but 62 yards of that was a wide-open Irving Fryer. Craig James finished it off with the cutback run from 4 yards, and the Patriots lead 24-17, and still 69 seconds remain in this wacky first half.
Could be a couple of more scores yet in 69 seconds, then.
Franklin kicks it away to Albert Bentley, 1 yard deep. And Bentley is grabbed by Rod McSwain at the 13.
Tackle by Rod McSwain.
Excellent tackle by Rod McSwain. He beat the blocker, squared down, slowed down, kept the wide base on his feet, and lowered the head, and just made an excellent tackle, putting his head right in the breadbasket of the ball carrier.
So the Colts now have 64 seconds. And defensively for the New England Patriots, obviously with the serious injury to Ken Sims, Garen Varus is in, as is Lester Williams. Patriots with a 4-man front, but Sims is out. Fractured leg. Unlikely that he will play again this season. A costly loss. Sims is having a fine year, his best as a pro. Hagel on first down. And he's, nearly completed to Booza, and then Claiborne nearly picked it off after Marion put the hit on Booza. Once again, Bob, let's hark back now to that injury to Kenneth Sims, and the irony here is really his own fault as he tried a leg whip.
There you see number 77 in white, missing the tackle, whipping his leg up. Now that is an illegal ploy by a defensive tackler. Unfortunately for the Patriots, Kenneth Sims has just started to come into his own. He was the first pick in the entire draft 4 years ago and got off to kind of a slow start, but coming into his own this year, generally regarded as the Patriots' best lineman this year, they can ill afford the loss of Kenneth Sims.
Second down from the 15. Pat Beach, that's another drop. That was a catchable ball again. And Beach points a finger at a defensive back. So some of these incompletions from Mike Pagel are not his fault.
They're not Mike Pagel's fault, but that ball was deflected. I believe that the defender got a hand on that ball just as he was coming into the hands of the receiver. And on the previous play, it's understandable why that one's dropped. Freddie Marion put some kind of hit on the receiver just as he was catching the ball. So the balls are being thrown very well by Pagel. They're there. He's putting them where they should be put, but it's excellent defense on the part of the Patriots secondary that's preventing the first downs.
Third down in the 15. Draw play, McMillan. And McMillan does not get to the 20. So the Patriots immediately stop the clock with a timeout because there are still 46 seconds remaining in the half, and the Colts will have to punt it away. So the Patriots use the first of their 3 timeouts as Mike Pagel and the offense will head off. They've had a pretty fair first half, putting 17 points on the board, but 2 interceptions and a wide-open Irving Fryer have killed the Colts this afternoon. I'd like to remind you that coming up next here on NBC Sports, the conclusion of the Skins game, the 3rd annual event, featuring defending champion Jack Nicklaus, PGA Player of the Year Tom Watson, U.S. Open winner Fuzzy Zeller, and of course Arnold Palmer, who scooped up all that loose change yesterday. The unique Skins game from the Bear Creek Golf Club in Murrieta, California, all coming up next, right here on NBC Sports.
Glenn, I believe that the Patriots here, they've got the little taste of blood here now. There's only 46 seconds left in the half, but they've called timeout to force the Colts to punt them so they can get the ball back, hopefully in Colt territory. They want to get another score on the board, maybe put this game away here at halftime.
Well, Stark will punt again. Remember, Irving Fryer has tied a club record with 2 punt returns for touchdowns this year. That is not a good punt from Stark, and it bounces. It takes a Patriots bounce, not a bounce at the 42 or 43. So the Patriots have 36 seconds left after for Ron Stark, a poor 38-yard punt.
Very poor. They also have 2 timeouts, and there's plenty of time for the Patriots to get yet another score on the board before halftime.
You know, watching that last replay of that leg whip, I just want to give a credit to our producer Peter Rolfe and our director Harry Coyle here this afternoon for their work down on the truck. And obviously you hate to see any player injured, but the irony, of course, when it was his own play that caused the injury. Play that's an illegal play.
That's right. It was illegal, but it may have been an instinctive situation. I don't know that if he thought about that. It's something that you do when you're off balance.
From the 43, first down, Eason going long. Fryer's open again, and Eason overthrows him. But what was this about a calf bruise for Irving Fryer, and he wasn't going to start? And Eason saying, I missed it by that much, darn. And Fryer doesn't look injured at all to me.
He certainly doesn't. I think it's the old sucker play. Oh, I'm hurt, I'm not going to play much today. And then zoom. Nesby Glasgow was trailing him, but by about 5 or 6 yards, and Nesby shaking his head, looking to his teammates, saying, hey guys, where were you? I thought I had help deep.
And if you're just joining us at 2:35 in the afternoon Eastern time, this is still the first half. It is the Patriots 24, Colts 17, 2 injuries, 2 ejections, and some razzle-dazzle. An action-filled first half. Eason runs it himself out of bounds over into the Colts bench area. Barry Krause pats him on the back. And we still have 23 seconds remaining in the half, and this will be 3rd down.
Well, so far, you've got to be fairly impressed with Tony Eason's ball game. He's gone downfield, downtown, upfield, I should say, when the situation is called for it. Here in the waning seconds of the first half, he's gone for the home run, and he's throwing the ball fairly well. He's throwing the ball well deep, and also throwing a lot of short passes that are on the money.
And when we get to halftime, we will hear from Bob and Ahmad and Pete at NFL 85. Shotgun formation, 3rd and 6 at the 47. 7 defensive backs in for the Colts. And one of them, Tate Randall, nearly intercepts the pass. Nobody was there. Perhaps Stanley Morgan was the intended receiver, but Tate Randall was the closest man to the ball. 4th-year player at Texas Tech. And now Tony Eason heads to the far side, and the Patriots will punt.
The intended receiver here is Stanley Morgan, coming from the left side of your screen, but he's not in your screen because he ran an out cut. Eason anticipating a post pattern with Morgan going deep over the middle. They had their signal switched because Jugs Morgan cut to the outside, and the only one that had any potential of catching that ball was wearing the wrong colored jersey.
So Camarillo will punt away, not having a good day, as you see. Robbie Martin has returned one for a touchdown this year, but this one he will watch bounce out of bounds. Will it get out of bounds? No. Takes a Patriots bounce and finally out at the 4. And just 7 seconds remain. So the Colts will likely flop on the ball unless they try a little Bart Starr play-action fake 96-yard attempt.
That was an amazing punt, Len. It's almost as if Camarillo had a little homing device in that ball. He not only put it in the corner, but it came down about a foot from the sideline, and then instead of bouncing out of bounds, it stayed in bounds and trickled all the way down to the 4-yard line.
47-yarders. So Camarillo is winning the battle with Stark today. Stark ahead of him in the rankings. Let's see what the Colts elect to do. 24-17 Patriots. Final 7 seconds and a handoff to McMillan. McMillan busts to the 16, and that'll do it for a first half filled with 5 touchdowns and 2 injuries and 2 disqualifications. It's been something.
And about 2 rounds of heavyweight boxing, and had a little bit of everything for the fans here today, Lynn.
What is your gut feeling now? Again, to follow up on our pregame theme, first of all, obviously the Colts have not packed it in, so that answered the first question from early.
The premier pick in the entire draft, he puts him under a microscope, and he just didn't relate that well. But he's letting his play do his talking for him lately, and that's what the coaches want in the final analysis.
The Colts kick it away to start the second half. Stephen Starring, and this time he doesn't bring it out. So, the Patriots will start at the 20. So our halftime statistics. Take a look if there's any big discrepancy. Things are fairly even. The 2 turnovers were critical, so that's really the big stat. The turnovers, the 2 interceptions that led to 14 points for the Patriots.
That's right, especially considering the Colts turned the ball over first drive of the game deep in their own territory. If you take away that mishap, you've got a dead even ball game.
So, first down. At the 20, Cliff Odom is back on defense for the Colts. A little pass out from Morgan, and Morgan runs it up close to first down territory. Cliff Odom was injured with a dislocated middle finger in the first half. A linebacker, number 93 for the Colts, but he's back in action starting the second half. But fellows who are out, Steve Moore, there's Odom. But his teammate, Donnell Thompson, and the offensive lineman for the Patriots, Steve Moore, both ejected for kind of a pity-pat fight.
That's right, like a couple of Fanny Roosters. But Cliff Odom is having the finest season of his career. It's his 5th year. He's leading the team so far, going into today with 148 tackles, a couple of sacks, making things happen in the middle of that Colt defense.
Well, about a pickup close to 7. It'll be 2nd and 3 as Eason tells Craig James where to go. And he has to call a timeout as the 30-second clock was down to 3. And Easton spent so much time directing traffic that he was forced to take a timeout in the opening seconds of the second half.
Which surely you don't want to do. You're involved in a very surprisingly tough ball game on the road. You're in a hostile stadium and in front of a loud crowd, and you don't want to utilize one of your 3 precious timeouts in the first few seconds of the opening of the second half.
See Steve Grogan leaning over his crutches, so the injury bug has hit the Patriots hard. First Grogan with a broken leg, now Kenneth Sims, two premier performers in back-to-back weeks. Irony with Grogan is he said in future years, if he comes back, he may avoid week number 12. Several different years he's been knocked out of commission in the 12th week of the season. An unlucky baker's dozen for Grogan.
Kind of like the 13th floor in a building. Huh? You go from 12 to 14 in a high-rise.
The Patriots return home after this 3-game road trip. We'll see what the reaction of the fans is to Tony Eason. They did not greet him well when he was the starter. In fact, they cheered when he was injured in the game against Buffalo. He's received some rough treatment there. Then that tough game.
The game is just the same as preseason, right?
So what if Walter Payton didn't play in the preseason? So 2nd and 3 from the 27. Flag is down. Eason through the hands of Morgan. Let it slip through. Eugene Daniel covering. Motion against New England. So if you decide to take it, they will give them 2nd down again. If they refuse, it'll be 3rd down.
Motion, number 66, offense, still 2nd down.
Well, they take it. So it backs it up to 2nd and 8. To the 21.
That's right, Len. As a defending team here, 2nd and 3 or 3rd and 3 is not an enviable position to be in. So they decided they'd rather have 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 8 rather than 3rd and 3. Saw Stanley Morgan there drop a ball that ordinarily he makes that catch. You won't see that too many times.
You keep calling him Jugs. I remember his nickname is the Stanley Steamer coming out of Tennessee. Is that because of all the work he does with the Jugs machine? And did he buy one himself for his home?
I believe he did, yes.
Second and 8. Rushes on. They've got him. Dwayne Bickett. First-round draft choice out of USC.
Dwayne Bickett in the running as one of the American Football Conference's Rookie of the Years, having a fine season, coming into the game today with 105 tackles. And you're going to see him coming from the right-hand side of your screen here late, number 50 in blue, putting the finishing touches on a harassed Tony Eason. Dwayne Bickett's coach in college at University of Southern California said that along with Chip Banks, the finest linebackers that have ever played at USC. That is a mouthful.
His 3rd sack of the year. He's out in the nickel back or dime back alignment. They have 6 defensive backs in. Shotgun, 3rd and 12 at the 18. Here they come again. They've got him again! And it's Keith Lee, the former New England Patriot, sacking Tony Eason.
That's got to be a little extra sweet for an ex-Patriot. Coming from the outside on a halfback blitz, beating the block by Lynn Dawson, not giving up. Ordinarily the ball will be away, but the secondary is doing a good job of coverage here. It enables Keith Lee with second effort to get a key sack. And Lynn, this is a very important drive. The opening drive of the second half sets the tone. If the Patriots had come out here and moved the ball right down the field methodically, perhaps the Colts would have folded the tent and packed it in until next week. Not the case here. We've got a ball game on our hands.
And Camarillo back under his goalpost again. And he gets a better one away this time. Drives Robbie Martin back to his 44. And Martin dances to maybe the 48 before he's plowed under. Jim Bowman, one of the Patriots, in on the tackle.
Tackle by Ed Williams.
As well as Ed Williams. So, 13:35 left, 3rd quarter. The Colts get the ball back in good shape. And they're trailing by 7, but you are right. The defense setting the tone with the 2 consecutive sacks. There's Lee, played for New England, but picks up his first sack here with the Colts. So, before the Colts start on offense, we'll take a timeout. The Patriots lead by 7. Down for the Colts at their 49. Bagel pumping, throwing deep for Wayne Capers, and he tried to reach around and couldn't do it. The defender, Raymond Claiborne, you saw Capers tried to reach around Claiborne and grab the pass, but couldn't do it. But Colts throwing caution to the wind. They're not playing conservatively.
Offensively or defensively with that halfback blitz a little while ago. You see Pagel here initially was going to go short. The play designed to go short, but there was good coverage. And Pagel with a heads up ability to see downfield, tried to hit Capers over the top, but Raymond Claiborne, once again, one of the premier cornerbacks in the league, running stride for stride with Wayne Capers.
I might have thought they'd go back to their pregame strategy of running left. Now in good field position, but they didn't do it. Mark Boyer in motion. Second down at their 49. McMillan. Wasn't fooled. Don Blackman wrapped him up for no gain, and this will set up third down as he's thrown for a loss on the play.
Don Blackman got the tackle. The real credit in that play should go to number 38, the strong safety, Roland James. He came up, read the play, diagnosed it, made a good tough stance, and took on the blocker, Big Ben Utt, and stuffed him and forced the play inside so that the tackle could be made.
So 3rd and 14. The Patriots go to 5 defensive backs. The Colts go to 3 wide receivers and the shotgun. Here comes Garen Barris. And you talked about Dwayne Bickett before being in the running for a rookie award. Barris has set a Patriots team record. That is his 9th sack, a rookie team record.
That's right. He's having a fine rookie season. That is the Patriot team record in sacks for a rookie. You see him here beating Chris Hinton, a former All-Pro and a fine offensive tackle. Barris, the rookie, just beat him to the outside. Now, Barris, by the way, is going to have to be playing the starting left defensive end in place of Kenneth Sims. So he's going to have his hands full today and certainly get battle tested.
An interesting selection of plays by the Colts. They went wide open with the sword, and they died by it on that series. 3 plays and punt. Stark with his 299th career punt. High snap. Good fielder. Decent punt. Fair catch. Well, he waved his hand and took it down, and then Pryor, and a flag is thrown. I think they'll call a legal fair catch signal. He put his hand up briefly. You're supposed to wave it. Then he took his hand down, and let's see what the call is. Mark Boyer made the stop. This year, you have to wave significantly. You just can't put up your hand half-hearted.
Fair catch signal, number 80 on the receivers.
Invalid fair catch signal, says our referee, Bob McElwee. You'll see it here. Look, he waves. What is that? Something in your eye?
I don't know. He gave the signal. That's a tough situation. You have to use judgment as a tackler coming down there. Did he wave or didn't he wave? You never really know.
That wasn't much of a signal. All right, timeout. Patriots get the ball back.
Rise and shine.
In the snap with Pat Beach. The next time he takes the snap as a punter, it will set an NFL record. It will be his 300th career punt. That would qualify him on the all-time list and make him number 1 all-time with a 45-plus average, surpassing the great Sammy Baugh.
Slinging Sammy Baugh. That's an amazing accomplishment for this young man. Tremendous athlete out of Florida State. Does a lot of things very well.
I'll confess my ignorance. I wasn't aware that Baugh was a great punter. I knew he was an all-time record setter as a passer. First down for the Patriots at their 20 as the crowd comes to life. And straight ahead goes Tony Collins. So after lots of scoring in the second quarter, teams are struggling offensively, or let's credit the defense here so far.
Taking a look at Big John Hanna here. You know, when the chips are down and the pressure's on, do what you do best. Tuck in behind Big Hog Hanna. And that time there was certainly no love lost between the 2 Alabama boys. Hog Hanna putting it to his Alabama mate, Barry Krause.
I saw them speaking before the game. It's surprising how friendly they are before the game. Then once the action begins, they go all out. Second and 4.
Don't let it fool you.
Tony Collins trying to turn the corner, does it for a first down, and out at the 32. Cliff Odom playing with a dislocated middle finger on the right hand, and he has that hand all the way wrapped up. He's the one who pushed out Collins, but not before Tony could grab the first down.
You know what's amazing, Len, is the size and ability and mobility of these offensive linemen nowadays. When I was drafted in 1969, I was 6'2" and maybe 245. I don't think I'd be drafted today. That time, big Brian Holloway, 6'7", 288 pounds, pulled all the way from his left tackle spot and was leading the sweep to the right sideline.
First down at the 32. Greg James brings it up to the 37. So the Patriots doing what I thought the Colts might have done. Doing it on the ground. Chris Scott, second-year man from nearby Purdue, making the tackle.
Taking a look at Barry Krause here. Now he's going to get hit once again. He and the other linebacker are going to be taking on the, you see John Hanna getting movement there on Cliff Odom. What the Colt inside linebackers had better start doing now is slanting their nose guard and slanting their defensive ends to start knocking those guards off, because the guards are coming out and blowing them off the ball.
2nd and 5 at the 37. Second man is Collins. Nothing there. Turns it back up and maybe gets 2. So before this 3rd down and short play coming up, let's go to Ahmad Rashad for an update at NFL 85. Seeing another hurricane. Eddie Brown. So 3rd and 3 at the 39. The shotgun to Tony Eason. Throwing, completing first down to Craig James at midfield. And a big 3rd down completion for Tony Eason, who, well, he doesn't show emotion one way or the other very much. That was an important little play right there for Eason.
That's right. In talking to him before the game, he did not exactly instill a lot of confidence in us as his ability today, but he's getting the job done today when it has to be done. And you see why Craig James is one of the better all-around backs in the American Football Conference. Taking another look at John Hanna here, one of the premier linemen over the years, and he started out blocking the defensive end there and very alertly switched off man, and that takes a lot of experience.
First down at the 49. Now James on the ground, perhaps gets 2. Well, at the end of that last play, I saw Craig James get around the linebacker, Johnny Cooks, and I can't help but remember that it was Johnny Cooks who scooped up a fumble in overtime to beat the Patriots opening day in '83. There's Johnny Cooks. Yet another Patriots overtime loss. They have yet to win in regular season in overtime, including the Jets last week. But I remember calling one game back in Boston during the preseason in the 70s when they beat the Giants in overtime in a preseason game. So they have won in preseason in OT, but never regular season. 2nd and 8, 47-yard line. And straight ahead, Tony Collins close to the 40, but he will be shy of a first down.
Impressive display by the Patriot offensive line this drive. They're coming out, they're plowing straight ahead, they're starting to dominate, they're winning the war on the pitch, the line of scrimmage. You're going to see the center there doing an excellent job. And then, I believe it was Mosey Tutupu, an excellent blocking back, coming in and doing a good job of blocking Barry Krause. The Patriot offensive line, the O-line, starting to dominate now.
This is the short yardage alignment. Tutupu and Weathers. Here's Tutupu. Gets the first down, I believe, before he's driven back. Let's see where they mark it. It will be very close on this 3rd down play.
I think you're right, Len. I think he got it, and if he did get it, it was all on him because he started getting hit before he crossed the line of scrimmage. Not many backs can make people miss in a crowd like that and get the extra foot or 2 feet or 3 feet that's required.
This will be very close, and timeout is taken for the chain gang to measure. The Patriots have to punt, or do they keep it for 4 more? First down.
Half the length of the ball. Taking a look at number 30, Mosey Tutupu. He's going to cut to the outside. Now he's going to run to his own man there and keep driving his legs. And that extra effort, even though the Colts look like the Marines on Iwo Jima there, stacking him up, but it's that extra effort that got him the extra length of the football for the first down.
9th play of this drive. First down for the Patriots at the Colt 39. 7:24 remaining. 3rd quarter. Patriots lead it by 7. Play action fake. Over the wide open is Stephen Starring. Starring, the race is on. Out of bounds inside the 15. So another big pickup for Tony Eason, getting it to Stephen Starring. Finally driven out by Anthony Young.
Once again, Tony, today, what happens here is Stanley Morgan on your left side of your screen runs a clearing pattern. It's a little fake play action pass. And Morgan has already cleared this area out for Stephen Starring, so there's a wide void there. And once he gets the ball, Stephen Starring knows what to do with it.
28 yards later, out of bounds at the 12-yard line, and that's where the Patriots have another first down. This drive started back at their own 21. Mixing up the plays well. Collins. And gets a couple. Man on top was Anthony Young, and Barry Krause on the bottom, along with Brad White, the nose tackle.
Chalked that one up to Barry Krause and the nose guard Brad White. Krause came in tight, took Hog Hanna on, head up, one-on-one straight, and basically won. Did not give any ground, and Brad White beat the block of Guy Morris and chalk that one up to the defensive side.
So Guy Morris is the center. Pete Brock healthy, ready to go, but he will only be used in an emergency. On the right side, Paul Fairchild has replaced the injured Ron Wooten. Art Plunkett replaced the ejected Steve Moore. Second down from the 9. Flag is down. Eason gets it to Stanley Morgan, who dives in for yet another touchdown, but I believe the flag may go against New England. Take back the touchdown.
Holding number 66, offense, still second down.
One of the fellows we were just
hurts.
talking about.
This hurts. As an offensive lineman, you never like to get called for holding, but you're going to see number 66 right there taking Barry Krause. I think they ought to give him 2 points for a takedown there, but as an offensive lineman, you hate to hear your name called for holding anytime, but in particular when it takes points off the board. He's going to hear about this one Monday morning.
So Raymond Berry is now backed up to the 19-yard line. His offense is. Patriots need the 2 for a first down. The Colts have 6 defensive backs. Second and 17. And Willie Broughton came. Did Art Plunkett induce him to come?
No, I believe Art Plunkett is
number 70 offense.
He's a little green behind the ears yet. He's playing in a loud, hostile stadium. He hasn't played that much, and he's in the heat of battle, hasn't got that much playing experience, and it's difficult conditions for a young lineman to come in and play against players like the Colts have.
So those changes on the right side that we alluded to starting to tell a tale as Tom Ramsey signals the play in, signal the 4. Raymond Berry folds his arms as his team is marching backwards. This is second down and 22.
Raymond Berry certainly knows that he's in the battle here.
3 wide receivers in the lineup. 6 defensive backs. Tipped and intercepted. And then he lost it. Anderson intercepted it. And now the fight for the ball between Plunkett and Young, but Don Anderson activated last week from an ankle injury. The interception. Scott Bierkus, a former Patriot, is excited.
I think Scott Bierkus got the deflection here. Or is it 95? All right.
Right off the helmet.
Chris Scott deflected the ball, and an alert play by the defender here. Key turnover, Len. This is the ball came out early. Fortunate to get it there. Anthony Young a heads up play on the recovery. Key defensive stand by the Colt defense, keeping their own territory, and the crowd loves it.
First down at the 18. First career interception for the youngster from Purdue, the rookie, second-round choice Don Anderson, just off injured reserve. Ball deflected off a helmet. McMillan, now they try to run. They go right, and he dives out to the 21 for a pickup of 3. So the Patriots had scored a touchdown. Stanley Morgan caught it 9 yards. It was nullified because of holding by Paul Fairchild. Then offside Art Plunkett. Now Rod Dowhauer sees that he can try to tie the score up. When I took this job, I knew what the situation was. You can still win even if all the parts aren't there right now, and he's dismantled some of the parts. Curtis Dickey being the latest this week, signed by the Browns.
Raymond Butler, Art Schleister. Coach Dowhauer is not all that concerned with this year. It's the future that he's building for.
Patriots are concerned with the present right now, trying to tie the Jets for first place. Second and 7. Hagel completes it. Far side to Capers. Covered by Ronnie Lippert. Short of a first down, out to the 26. This will be 3rd and 3. Wayne Capers, former Steeler. I was surprised when they released him. I always thought he had a lot of talent.
He does.
A lot of talent.
He does. And he has a lot of speed. He's a legitimate home run threat. He's averaging over 16 yards per reception. He, along with the rookie, Ricky Nichols, are the 2 speed merchants in this fleet of Colt receivers.
This is 3rd down and a long 1, closer to 2 yards, but an important 3rd down. Aren't they all? Pitch back, McMillan, nothing doing, and the Patriots have held an important defensive series for New England. The Colts certainly had the momentum their way, and now Steve Nelson in on the tackle, and Ron Stark will come onto the field as a punter and set a little bit of history with this next punt.
We're going to take a look at Ray Donaldson, generally regarded as one of the better centers in the league. This time he's going to get beat. Nose guard Dennis Owens comes around the block by Donaldson and makes a tackle in Colt territory. This is one of the reasons, Dennis Owens, is why the Patriot defense is one of the best defenses in the entire AFC against the run. Big, strong front seven.
So this will be a record-setting punt no matter how far it goes. It will qualify him for the all-time listings, and he lists number 1 all-time, Ron Stark. His 300th career punt is deep but low. And grabbed by Jim Bowman, the up man, and driven backwards inside the 30. So, he's got the record. I'm sure he's not too thrilled with the punt that set the record, but he's in the books. Ron Stark, number 1 punter, NFL history. Some credit Stark for the record, but let's give some credit to the centers who have snapped the ball 300 times and taken a lot of punishment. You did that when you were with the Dolphins.
That's right, and talk about thankless jobs, Len. There is no more anonymous and thankless job than that of the NFL snapper. The only time the public even know he's there is when the ball sails either low and high, and then he's a villain.
So this game has settled down a little bit. A scoreless third quarter after all those points in the first half, and now with 3:52 remaining in the third, the Patriots will start first down at their 29. Eason comes out throwing, completing to Stephen Starring out at the 35 for a pickup of 6. So, Stephen Starring, who lined up at quarterback for 1 snap today, he ran a little wishbone play, did it effectively. Now he's back to playing wide receiver.
Do you suppose he has anything in his contract about him playing quarterback, Len?
These athletes today have things in their contract about everything, every little move. Or at least the ones in the better bargaining position. 2nd and 4 at the 35, another pass. And another completion, Tony Collins, but just shy of the first down. So let's see what's going on elsewhere around the National Football League. Defensive game in Pittsburgh, and
that's no surprise. I'll end 10-9 deep in the game in Pittsburgh.
Ooh, Giants have come back to take the lead. The Browns had a big lead earlier in that one. Cincinnati rolling it up, 42 points already against Houston, still in the third. Minnesota having a tough time in Philadelphia on the schneid. New Orleans, Wade Phillips undefeated as a coach.
Wow.
Sign him up. Green Bay shutting out Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay can't stand the prosperity after their overtime win. So, 3rd and short, less than a yard at the 39. And Robert Weathers gets the first down out across the 42. So Robert Weathers, who has carried for less than 100 yards in the entire season, gets the call on that 3rd down play.
You're going to see some fine blocking by Brian Holloway and John Hanna here, and also Mosey Tutupu there, getting just enough of Dwayne Bickett there to allow Robert Weathers to clear for the first down. And it's awfully tough to stop these Patriots in short yardage situations behind Holloway and Hanna and Mosey Tutupu.
As you saw in the graphic, first down for the Patriots at the 43. And the play goes straight ahead to Tony Collins. Eats up some more yardage and some more time. Willie Broughton, another rookie from Miami, making a tackle. But Tony Eason, he ran a long drive last time out. It was the penalties that killed him. As you just saw Cedric Jones bring him the play from the sideline.
Yes, you're beginning to see a pattern develop. It's almost as if in the later moments of this game thus far, the Patriots are beginning to wear down this Colt defense. The offensive line of the Patriots coming out and grabbing it by the throat, taking control.
2nd and 6 at the 47. Eason to pass. Outlet to Craig James. Odom grabs him and close to a first down. Cliff Odom was injured in that first half, taped up with a dislocated finger. He's back. You know, he went to college at Texas Arlington. The only reason why I mention that is that they just up and dropped football last week to save money at his old college.
He played that poorly there?
Texas Arlington, doing away with football. So that was a first down on the last play. James got the yardage. Odom could not stop him. And it's a first down in Indianapolis territory at the 47. So the time of possession clearly in the favor of the Patriots. But on the scoreboard, it's 24-17 as we near a minute left, third quarter. U-turn by Fryer. Fake to James. Eason throwing. Another open receiver is Tony Collins all the way down to the 20. And Eason is picking apart this Colts defense. His receivers are getting open. That one out of the backfield, Tony Collins.
I believe the New England fans, Len, can breathe a little easier as the question of the day seems to be answered in a rather positive note. Tony Eason today displaying much of the form that he displayed in 1984, throwing long, throwing deep, running the ball aggressively when it's called for, mixing his plays up well, and it appears as though he's returned to his 1984 form.
First down at the 21 after a 27-yard pickup to Collins. Collins runs it, nothing. Dwayne Bickett wrapped him up for a loss. And that will likely be the end of the third quarter as the clock will run down. Nothing has gone to form today. Dwayne Bickett, the good stop there, but after all of that scoring in the first half, no scoring in the third quarter. So that's the end of 3 quarters of play from Indianapolis. 24-17 Patriots over the Colts. Right now, this station break. Len Berman along with Bob Kuchenberg. At halftime, it was 24-17 Patriots. That's where it is after 3 quarters as we begin quarter number 4 with a 2nd and 11 from the 22 in New England. Dawson, the U-turn. Pitch back to Craig James, and he's tripped up again by Bickett, the rookie. And he gets congratulations.
A simple toss to the weak side, and the blocking back is supposed to take the linebacker, but didn't get, Tony Collins did not get it done. Dwayne Bickett, again, having an outstanding rookie season. Their #1 draft choice, and right now it's looking like a very good move.
Well, you talked about perhaps the Colts defense getting worn down, but in both cases on drives here in the second half, they seem to stiffen.
That's right. They've given up a lot of yardage between the 30s, and they've given up a lot of time, but they've rose to the occasion down deep in their own territory.
Total yardage, 320 to 173. Patriots also have time of possession, but here, 3rd and 14 from the 25. Eason going for all of it. Flag is down. Morgan grabbed it for a touchdown and hits the wall.
What a throw and catch.
But a flag is down.
The flag was down, but I believe it was because Tate Randall, the safety, was safety blitzing, and he blitzed a little bit early, so they're going to decline it.
Number 75 defense lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
He held on and smacked the wall. A 25-yard touchdown. Stanley Morgan, 2nd of the day. Look at this one.
What a throw and catch. Let's see if he gets 2 feet down here. There's the one. There's one.
And the crowd saw that replay on the scoreboard. That's why they are booing.
They have a right to boo, I believe, Len.
We will take another look at that shortly. From the first blush, it did not look like he had 2 feet down. He has a bare foot, threw the ball for the extra point. Whether or not he had 2 feet down will not matter, because on the scoreboard as the crowd boos, the Patriots lead the Colts 31-17. So as Tony Franklin tees it up, you must feel for the Colts and their fans. They cannot buy a break. As you will see from the replay, that should not have been a touchdown. It is clear cut. Tony Franklin kicks it away now with a 14-point lead. Bentley at the goal line. Bentley stopped before he can get to the 20. Now you watch the replay. This is not a commercial. This is live television. You play the ref.
In the NFL, you must have 2 feet in bounds. You're going to see the left foot is off the ground when the ball hits. Right there, the foot is up. The left foot coming down. 1 and 1 only. Now the fans in New York and the fans in Miami have got to be very upset about that call. However, if you're in New England, you kind of like it.
We'll take it any way you can get. The Patriots will tell you they have had some rough breaks in their career over the years. Just tell them about a little roughing the passer call in Oakland in 1976 against Sugar Bear Hamilton, who is here today. They've had their share of bad breaks, so they're happy to get one here. First down from the 19. Wansley wide open. Wansley busts it out to the 32. Roland James finally caught up with the runaway train, George Wansley, who has a terrific 5-yard average per carry. He's rushed for nearly 600 yards this year.
5.2 yard per carry average, Len, the leading rusher per carry in the league. Wide open. You and I could have run through this hole.
Well, not me, you.
Roland James making a fine open field tackle. Otherwise, Wansley has another 20 yards.
13-yard pickup. First down for the Colts at the 32. And now facing a 14-point deficit, but lots of time. 13:24 remaining. Pagel completes it to Booza. So Pagel happy to have Matt Booza back. Injured his knee after having a fine game against the Packers when he caught 6 passes for 109 yards. And now Booza today making the reception, and Ronnie Lippett has yet to get up for the Patriots. He's knee.
We haven't heard much from Ronnie Lippett today. Usually with the presence of Raymond Claiborne, the all-pro or perimeter all-pro on the right side of the Patriot defense, a lot of teams go the other way. They like to work on Ronnie Lippett. We haven't called his name much today. He entered today with 60 tackles, which is a big amount for a cornerback. But he's got something wrong with his leg.
So it is a first down for the Colts at their 42. And while they take a look at Ronnie Lippett, we'll take a look at this. We'll be right back. Back in Indianapolis, 12:55 remaining. The Colts first down at their 43. Patriots lead at 31-17. A controversial touchdown, giving them the big lead. Capers in motion. Wansley again. And he turns the corner against the defense and out of bounds. You know, Patriots last week gave up 16 points. It was the most they had given up in 7 weeks. Now the Colts have scored 17 against them as they're moving the ball nicely. Wansley, a good pickup.
That's right. It was a quick pitch to Wansley, who's getting good yardage today, and the key block was by the left guard, Ben Utt, who got outside and got Larry McGrew on the ground.
Doesn't get any easier next week at Chicago. Will they be 13-0 if they get by Bob Kuchenberg's Dolphins in that big game tomorrow night? Here, 2nd and 3 at midfield, right on that big Colts helmet. Capers was in motion again. Play action fake to McMillan. Now the pass out to McMillan. First down and out. And a flag for a late hit at the 44 of New England. Don Blackman, the one on the far side. And the personal foul, they'll tack it on against the Patriots.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55 defense, enforced from the end of the play, first down.
So let's see if we can pick up number 55. There's the high, hard hit from Blackman.
Yeah, that's a good call, Len. That isn't necessary. You see, 15 years ago, you didn't see that in the NFL. You see a lot of it nowadays, and the players are so big and strong. There's enough brutality and hard hitting going on. If you just put your head and your shoulder in there, you don't need the forearms to the face when a person's going out of bounds.
So first down for the Colts, all the way down to the New England 29 now. Wansley goes in motion. Swing it out to McMillan, but Blackman was there as well, and they make the stop for a loss. So while the Colts regroup, we will group it to Ahmad Rashad for an update, NFL 85. So both teams, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, are behind. That's what's happening at AFC Central. The 2 first-place teams will be under 500. If they both lose, they'll both stay in first-place tie. 2nd and 14 at the 33 after that last loss. Draw play, McMillan gets back maybe to the 30, which would set up 3rd and 11 for the Colts. Lester Williams shakes hands with Andre Tippett. Gee, we haven't called Tippett's name that much this afternoon as you take a look at Lester Williams and on the tackle as well.
You're right. We have not called Tippett's name that much. And he has 13.5 sacks, as most people know, which is an incredible amount of sacks for a linebacker. But in reality, he's not really a linebacker. He's rushing from a defensive end spot most of the time. And the reason we haven't called his name much today is because the Colts are turning out one of their big offensive linemen to block him.
Colts have done poorly today on 3rd down, just 2 of 9. It looks like an audible being called by Mike Pagel from the shotgun. And he completes it to Booza, who breaks away from Marion for a first down. You don't see Fred Marion miss that many tackles, but a big 3rd down conversion from Pagel to Booza, and the crowd is yelling, Booza.
They like Booza here in Indianapolis, and this battery of Pagel to Booza has been effective in the past, and they're certainly being effective here again today. Excellent moxie and wherewithal here to spin and get rid of the tackle and spin to the inside for enough yards for the first down. Booza, an excellent possession receiver.
How about this drive for the Colts all the way down to the New England 16? Trying to make up for the bad call. There's a flag down. So is Capers in the end zone as it was overthrown, and Lippett and Claiborne covering. Both quarterbacks were over on the near side looking at Capers, but a flag was thrown, and then Capers went down. It's offside Patriots. So the flags going against New England after they got the call their way on the touchdown pass.
Offside, number 99, defense lined up in the neutral zone.
And
Still first down.
That's Ben Thomas playing for Kenneth Sims, who broke his left leg in the first half and is probably lost for the season. So Thomas, the second-round choice out of Auburn, the rookie, lined up in the neutral zone offside. So this will be 1st and 5 at the 11. McMillan. And McMillan fights for a first down. Pagel nearly dropped the handoff, nearly dropped the snap from center, rather, and then turned around and was fortunate enough to be able to regather himself and get it to McMillan.
But when you're hot, you're hot. And you've got to take your hats off to this Colt club. They have a lot of reasons to quit. They're not in contention. Many people thought the Patriots would come in here and roll over them. But it's a credit and tribute to Rod Dahauer and his staff and the professionalism and pride of these Indianapolis Colts.
The measurement. Another Colt first down at the Patriots 6.
Taking a look, it's just a quick opener here. Can't really see the ball being bobbled, but just a quick opener on 1st and 5. And McMillan knows where pay dirt is, and by gosh, he wants to get there.
So 1st and goal at the 6. This will be the 9th play of a crisp Colt drive, aided by a couple of penalties that began back at their 19. The I formation, McMillan and Wansley. Who's in motion? McMillan, the first man, touchdown, his 3rd. Touchdowns. He only had 3 coming in and gets 3 more today.
Not to be denied. Randy McMillan says, here I come. Try and stop me if you can. Tremendous fullback, Len. This man was highly sought after by Don Shula in Miami a few years back.
Good move, too, celebrating the first 3 touchdown day of his career.
Tell me they don't have professionalism and pride here in Indianapolis, huh?
9:06 still remains. Stark will hold for a leg raise. He tries to get $500 more in his paycheck. He does it and closes it to 7. So the difference right now in the game, the controversial touchdown by Stanley Morgan, as Randy McMillan ponders on the bench, the first time he's rushed 3 times for TDs in his career, same game. Allegre kicks it away to Stephen Starring in his end zone. He'll bring it out again. Starring to the near side. Starring dragged down at the 26 and then takes a hit in his helmet over the top and looks around saying, where's the flag? There is none. 28-yard return, a Eugene Daniel tackle on special teams. And our hearts really go out to Kenneth Sims on crutches, having a terrific year and being consoled a bit by Ron Wooten, who himself is out of action with an injury, but Sims knocked out with a fractured leg in the first half, trying to stop McMillan.
And that, Len, is a major setback to the Patriots in their playoff aspirations.
And now the Patriots forced with having to keep the ball. First down at their 25, trying to nurse a 7-point lead. Tony Collins, the swing pass. Collins breaks all the way up to the 35. Pickup of perhaps 9 before Cliff Odom and Barry Krause could team up to stop the 5th-year player out of East Carolina.
Heads-up play that time. Taking a look at Randy McMillan, what a day he's had. But a heads-up play that time.
3 touchdowns, and he knocked Kenneth Sims out. He's done it all, you know, really.
Yeah, he has. A heads-up play that time by Tony Eason. He read the coverage. He took what it gave him. He slipped the ball out to Tony Collins in the flank, and then Tony did the rest of it. He was mismatched against Barry Krause and took Barry to school and turned a 2-yard gain into a 10-yard gain.
Well, this will be second in millimeters, which is virtually a free down. We'll see what the Patriots choose to do with it. I always like to see them go for the downs on second and short rather than giving it to their short yardage man. It's more exciting anyway.
Well, it is kind of a throwaway. You have third down, of course, in case you go for all the marbles here and don't get it. In that respect, it's a throwaway, but it's become pretty common knowledge nowadays that this is a throwaway type zone or play.
So he has Stephen Starring the near side, Stanley Morgan the far side. Let's see if he pulls the fly pattern. He does not. Tony Collins gets the first down and more inside the 40 and run out of bounds on the far side. And Peter Luongo, the equipment man, chases him out of bounds. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad at NFL 85, and let's get an update and see what's going on elsewhere. Turnover. Mike Merriweather, who had been having a quiet year. Big turnover there. First down for the Patriots at their 44. Eason to Collins. He has a step. Tony Collins looking for the end zone. And Eugene Daniel bangs him out inside the 15. Another long pickup for Tony Eason.
What a drive by Tony Eason, the Patriots here. Len, this is something. 3 consecutive plays now. Tony Eason has been mismatched on number 55, Barry Krause. Here the linebacker. Now, this is a mismatch. He's a big, strong guy having to cover a little fast scat back like Tony Collins, and that's asking a lot for a linebacker to cover him up and down the field. There's just no way. Now, this is 3 consecutive plays that Tony Collins has shown his former all-pro skill. 3 consecutive plays chalk up this drive, almost entire drive, to Tony Collins.
44-yard pickup. Now at the 12. First down. Greg James picks his spots, drives inside the 5, and a flag goes down late in the play. Brad White in on the stop. See what the call is. A holding against the Patriots. They have been self-destructing offensively. Remember, their only score in the second half really was not a score. A touchdown that should not have counted.
Holding number 73 offense. Still first down.
John Hanna. See the look on his face. See a little bit of blood on his jersey as well. He
but I don't imagine
puts in a day's
blood.
work, doesn't he?
I don't imagine it's John's blood. It's more than likely someone else's. Big John Hanna. Even the great ones get called every once in a while.
Hard to imagine that guy packing up a suitcase and going to work on the train as a stockbroker in Boston.
If he told me to buy, I'd buy.
Incongruous, it seems. So this play is backed up to the 19. Patriots need inside the 3 for a first down. So call it first and almost 17. Greg James. And that play was stopped down by Chris Scott, local college hero out of Purdue. Well, they said this defensive front 3 would be hurting with Leo Wisniewski, a career-threatening injury in the preseason, but they've done okay. They said the front 3 was the weak portion of the Colts defense, but they turned in some good plays. Chris Scott on that one.
That's right, Len. Chris Scott's been playing a good, solid game today, as have their entire front 7. They don't have the all-pro, the Mark Gastineau, the big name player in there, but they play very well as a unit, spearheaded, of course, by that superior linebacking corps.
So now second down, 15 at the 17. Pitch back to Greg James. James scampers inside the 10 down to the 8. But remember, they need the 2 for a first down, so this will set up about 3rd and 6. Anthony Young, a rookie from Temple, teaming up with Cliff Odom to make the stop at Craig James. Eason today passing, by the way, Bob, 20 of 28 for 294 yards. And Craig James on the day had 100 yards against the Jets, 108 to be exact. Today, 12 carries for 44. What will Raymond Berry call here?
Well, 3rd and 5. At this point, 3 points are nearly as good as 7. We've got a little more than 6 minutes left, and if you're more than a touchdown up, you're in good position. So I wouldn't imagine it being anything too risky.
From the shotgun. The handoff inside. And Craig James barrels, not for a touchdown, but he does get a first down.
You've got to like that call. Everybody in the house expecting a pass. You had your 3 wide receivers split out wide and give the ball to your halfback. Following, whoa, that is an excellent trap. That brings out a lot of excitement in me. That is how you drop a trap play. Paul Fairchild, the right guard, pulled from the spot and looped around the center, and Chris Scott was coming in on a pinching charge and never saw him. Paul Fairchild will enjoy that replay when they watch the films tomorrow.
5:37 remain in the 4th quarter. The Patriots lead by 7, but a first and goal at the Colts 1. Pitch back to Tupu. He's got it. And Eason will run over to congratulate Mosi Tupu on his first touchdown of the season.
And credit Robert Weathers with a fine block. He got into the defender and sustained his block just long enough to enable Mosi Tupu to get in the end zone here. Also, John Hanna pulling out here. There you see Robert Weathers, number 24, hit once, bounces off, keeps at it, keeps the legs driving, and bothering the defender just enough to allow Mosi to get into pay dirt. These Patriots, Len, have so many weapons. They have such superior skill positions. Their receivers are elite, and Collins and James are a wonderful tandem of running backs. And if they can get some good, consistent quarterbacking, they're going to be hard to beat.
The quarterbacking has been consistent today. So has Tony Franklin. And now, with 5:21 left in the 4th quarter, the Patriots have stretched open their lead once again to high school team.
Len, it's not been a good weekend for me with the Hobart Rookies going down and the Fighting Irish getting beat 58-7.
Albert Bentley fights. Bentley again. I've said it before. You can see why he leads the conference in kickoff returns. Fights all the way out to the 28. Greg Hawthorne on the stop. That's right. Your high school team lost. Notre Dame lost big, your alma mater. And let's take a look at Bentley.
He just does not want to go down. I'll tell you, I am very impressed with Albert Bentley. The Colts are very high on him up here, but I remember him standing in that Nebraska University of Miami game for the national championship a few years back, and Nebraska was blitzing to try to get back in the ball game. They were blitzing everybody, sending everything but the kitchen sink. Albert Bentley was standing in there and just taking on those blitzers and knocking the heck out of them.
First down at the 29, 5:10 remaining. The Colts trail by 14. 7 of those in controversial fashion. Hagel. Again, Boyer is open all the way out to the 49. And they are not booing Mike Pagel today in Indianapolis. He's having a good day. Well, let's take a break here for a moment. Let's check with Ahmad Rashad, NFL 85. We make domes here in Indianapolis. First down at the 49. After the 20-yard pickup, Pagel completing to Wansley. Has a lot of running room. Another first down. And Wansley all the way down to the 30. Bob, what is going on with the New England defense?
Well, it's not so much the New England defense, Len. I think it's the never say die Colts. They refuse to quit. Don't they know they're down 14 points with only 4 minutes left? They just keep coming back. They keep getting up off the carpet, kind of like Gene Fulmer did a few years ago. You keep hitting them, and Joe Frazier. They just keep getting up, and who knows, if they get back in the end zone here, we've got a ball game again. Let's
pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WBZ TV4 Boston.
Colts at the 30. They trail 38-24, 4:23 remaining. Booza in motion. Wansley, the ball carrier, gets a hole and gets down to the 26. Pick up a 4.
There was an excellent block by Randy McMillan that time. He came through there as the lead blocker and just cleared out 2 fellas. And credit that play to the other blocking back. A lot of times, if you've got 2 talented ball carriers, they don't like to do a great job of blocking. They try to rest when they're not carrying the ball because they take such a punishment when they're carrying it. In this case, so Randy McMillan throwing a superior block and opening up a wide hole for George Wansley.
Yeah, but look how much time the Colts are taking. They got a playoff. The clock is not on their side. It's now down to 3:45. You can't afford to use the 30-second clock when you're trailing by 14 points. 2nd and 6, 26. And another running play. It's as if they're going ground control and a few boos from the crowd. Rod Dowhauer keeping it on the ground when you might think they'd go through the air. The clock continues to run. 3:23 left. Hagel looking to the side for a call.
A little bit of confusion going on now, Len. They're sending in 3 different players. They're going with their short yardage offense. They're wasting valuable time, as you pointed out.
He just lost a minute. 3rd and 1. Bentley, first down, but doesn't get out of bounds. Now he does. They rule it out of bounds. So the clock is stopped. Now 2:56 left, and they are inside the 15.
And what an effort to get out of bounds.
Remember the Skins game coming up, all that money on the line, and there's quite a bit of playoff money on the line here as the Patriots hope to tie for first place. And should the Dolphins, which is a big should, but should they lose tomorrow night and the Patriots and Jets stay tied the rest of the way for first place and the Dolphins don't catch them, the Patriots would beat the Jets in the head-to-head tiebreaker. But of course there's a big game that the Patriots have to play in Miami before that happens. Bentley hit down hard at the 15. Will they spend a timeout here? 2:46 remaining. The crowd continues to boo. No timeout taken, so the clock continues to run. 2:36 and counting. They have 3 timeouts remaining. Coming up for the Miami Dolphins. Tough games with Chicago and New England in their final 4 games, starting with tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Dolphins certainly have their work cut out for them in the remainder of the season, but they are, like the Patriots, they're in control. If they can go undefeated, you know they're going to be in the playoffs.
2nd and 6 at the 9. Hagel throwing, open is Booza, touchdown!
It's amazing, Len. The Colts are making this Patriot defense look just like any other defense, an average defense, and they're not that. A little pattern to the inside here. Booza wide open. Somebody either fell down or didn't do a very good job of covering. A little play action, holding the linebackers for just a little bit, but the cornerback over there should have been Raymond Claiborne, and he is badly beaten. That is Freddie Marion, the free safety. Don't know what the problem was in the secondary, but it's 6 points.
Stark will hold for Allegre. He boots it through and good. And so with 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter, the Colts are again within 7, 38-31. And I will point out again the difference, those 7 points, a touchdown that should not have counted when Stanley Morgan really had 1 foot out. That's the difference right now.
Might we see an onside kick?
Well, we'll definitely see an onside kick. But speaking of the Patriots defense, they have now allowed 31 points. Only the Raiders on September 29th scored more against New England when they scored 35 in a Raider victory at Foxborough. So Raymond Burial, although he's got the lead and just 2:08 remaining, and even though he may tie for first place, has some serious concerns. The defense, the season perhaps ending injury to Kenneth Sims with the broken leg. Even if they travel home with a win, it will not be a happy flight home because of some of the negatives today. And if this score holds up again, Rod Hauer lost it perhaps on a controversial call. Although the flip side, if that pass was ruled no touchdown, the Patriots would then have attempted a 42-yard field goal, which would have been well within Tony Franklin's range.
Well, that's right, Len. As you say, the Patriots, if they get out of here with a win today, are going to be in first place. But they're battered by injuries. They've lost their best defensive lineman, Kenneth Sims. They also have an offensive line.
Here we go.
That's battered.
Onside kick. They all go to the left. The ball is loose. And it is covered by the Patriots. Was that Craig James under there? Good attempt. The ball came loose, and let's watch them unpile. And who's got the football?
That was an excellent onside kick. The ball skittered through the first line of Patriot defenders. And I think you're right. Craig James probably made the recovery. We're going to see it. Take a look at it here. Everybody in the ballpark knows. You see the Colts going over to the other side. 10 men over on that side. Goes through John Hanna there. Yeah, I believe it is Craig James making the recovery. A key play by the halfback, by the fullback, I should say.
To the Patriots, 2:04 left. We'll get an automatic timeout for a 2-minute warning as they start after this play. start at the 48. Crowd wants defense. Running play. Craig James stopped at midfield, so the 2-minute warning. So maybe the Colts not calling timeouts before will work to their advantage. The crowd didn't like it, but now, in addition to this 2-minute warning, the Colts have 3 full timeouts left. We'll be back. The Patriots nursing a lead.
Len, but it's also right now the difference between first and second place in the AFC East.
I know they're watching down in Miami. I wonder if Don Shula and company are just scratching their heads a little bit, saying it's a long way before this season is settled. And football can take a lot of funny bounces, and you just saw one of them there as far as the officials call.
That's right. That's right. You've got to take your hat off to the Colts. They're just playing their hearts out today.
All right, important defensive series here. They're playing for first place. You see in the standings. 2nd and 9 at the 49. Snap never came. A lot of motion, and they'll step off 5 against New England. Ball never was snapped in all those people.
Right guard and right tackle.
So now it'll be 2nd and 14. This Hoosier Dome right now is, I would say, at least half empty. It was a sellout. As you can see from some of the shots, and as our director Harry Coyle has the cameras pull out, I mean, these people went home, and the football game is very much in doubt right here with 2 minutes remaining, and the Colts have 3 timeouts left, and they have moved the ball against that Patriot defense should they get the ball back.
Well, I think perhaps the fans are conditioned to weak fourth quarters up here, but certainly not the case today.
2nd and 14 at the 44. Eason throwing, and flags are thrown. It will be defensive pass interference, I believe, against Preston Davis, a former Patriot.
The fans don't like it, but it's a good call.
Pass interference, number 27 defense, first down.
It was waived in the Patriots training camp in 1983, and now early hit.
There you see the contact. Preston may have been trying to get the ball, but there was one problem. There was a receiver between him and the ball. Clearly an early hit, and that penalty hurts. Now it's going to be very difficult for the Colts to get the ball back.
They still have 3 timeouts. Still 1:55 left. They purely cannot allow a first down, because then you start talking about field goal range. First down at the 43. Craig James stopped. You see an extra little punch thrown in there perhaps by Anthony Young, and the Colts take the first of their 3 timeouts, which they were smart enough now in retrospect not to take earlier when the crowd was a bit restive.
That's right. They knew they had 3 timeouts left and a 2-minute warning to stop the clock. So you're going to see the Colts trying to gang tackle and strip the ball from the Patriots.
Well, when time is back in, the Patriots will face 2nd and 7 at the 40. They lead the Colts 38-31, both teams with 2 timeouts left, 1:48 remaining.
Lynn, earlier when the Colts had the ball and they were driving for a touchdown to draw within 7 points, you made the remark that perhaps why are they not calling timeout? Of course, the fans were booing. Now you see why. The Colts' only chance to win this ball game was to score then and to save their 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning to stop the Patriots.
James stopped at the 40. The Colts take another timeout. It has been a fumble-free football game. Several penalties, 2 ejections, 2 injuries, 1 very serious, and some interceptions. 3 in the game, 2 important ones, led to points for the Patriots.
And 69 points scored, but other than that, there's really not much happening today.
1:44 remaining. Remember, the Skins game, golf coming up with Nicholson, Palmer, and the rest. Patriots will head home to Detroit after a 3-game road trip. The Colts will head to Chicago to play the Bears outdoors at Soldier Field. Not an enviable task. But this is the kind of game when a team is going as poorly as Rod Dowhower's team is going, where even in defeat, there's a lot of positive here. Randy McMillan's first 3-touchdown game of his career. Mike Pagel has looked sharp. In addition to the controversial touchdown, remember the first Patriots touchdown was set up by a catchable ball that went off Wayne Caper's shoulder and intercepted by Roland James. So the Colts, if they lose, should they lose, there were factors working against them other than the way they played.
Absolutely. They can hold their head high today. They've played very well today. And earlier when I said that their future, their concern is next year, I'll finish the thought after this play.
3rd and 7 at the 40. Crowd comes to life. The crowd that's left. Craig James fights for a first down. He got it, and they did it on the ground. A big, big play. Craig James. And they will stop the clock and take a look.
What a clutch play here. Big John Hanna and Brian Holloway, the two All-Pros from the left side, pulling over to the right. 73 there. Big block. Tucking in behind Holloway. And when you have that tonnage on the hoof, it's tough to stop. And Craig James is no dummy. He knows where to tuck and stay behind John Hanna and Brian Holloway. And that was a clutch performance by perhaps 3 All-Pros. Holloway and Hanna, the established All-Pros, but Craig James knocking on the door this year. And that is the type of play that championships are made of.
Denver beat Pittsburgh. Well, wait till you see the Cleveland Giants score, if we can get it up. Cincinnati beat Houston. So Cincinnati within a game of Pittsburgh. New Orleans winning their first. Phillips, Wade Phillips.
The Rams are trying to throw away that 4-game lead, huh?
Green Bay with the shutout.
Glenn, earlier I was talking about Rod Dowhower not being so concerned with this year, and I didn't mean they don't want to win, but certainly the important thing for Rod Dowhower and his staff in his first year here, as we taper down here as the Patriots win the clock out, the important thing for Dowhower and the Colts is to perform like they did today, to instill some pride and some sense of identity.
Look at this one. The Browns will take over first place if that holds on. Ernest Biner ran from 2 yards out with a minute 52 to take the lead over the Giants. But the Colts cannot stop the clock. They are out of timeouts. As you see, 67 seconds and counting. And the Patriots can just fall on the ball. And Raymond Burry and the Patriots will now be tied with the Jets for first place at 9-4. Rod Dowhower faces his 5th consecutive loss, going to 3-10.
And that's true. That's got to be very discouraging and frustrating. And Coach Dowhower has commented how he had no idea the pressures and the frustration of being a head coach in this league. And they've lost 5 in a row. And certainly that's nothing. There's nothing exciting or optimistic about that. But with the exception of last week when they played poorly on the road at Kansas City, these Colts have not played badly. And it's important. As a matter of fact, it's critical or crucial right now in the stage of the Dowhower-led Colts that they continue to improve and play their hearts out the remainder of the season, even though they have no hopes for the playoffs. It's important so they can play well and get some pride and some momentum built up to carry them over to the 1986 season.
And that'll do it. How big was that last Craig James run? The bad news for the Patriots, they have lost Kenneth Sims' broken leg. The good news for Raymond Burry and company, they are tied for first and win in the tiebreakers. For Rod Dowhower, he now has to look at the Chicago Bears in Chicago.